Know who you're asking, of course. Yes, I am on Clapper tonight, Paul. We're currently on Clapper as we speak. Busy news day. Busy news day. As you probably see on the monitor behind me, and unfortunately, if you're watching on YouTube, it's kind of reversed, but I'll go ahead and give you some clarity on it. Trump's economy, which I was basically doing videos a few days ago championing his economy. I was speaking positively of Trump's economy. In fact, I still have queued up one of the videos from, I think it was either our last live stream or the one before.
From that advanced second quarter GDP number, futures are higher ahead of that, with the Dow futures up by about 25 points, S&P futures up by 7, the NASDAQ indicated up by just over 40 points. Rick Santelli is standing by at the CME in Chicago. And Rick, take it away.
Yes, these are the advanced, of course, so they will be modified, but we are expecting a number around 2.5%. Last quarter, you do realize, was down 0.5%.
And I just stop it there. This is from a few days ago. This is what we talked about in the last live. We were giving Trump credit because his economic numbers showed that the economy grew, the GDP grew by 3% from the second quarter, from last quarter. So the news coming in was positive. Well, it goes without saying, under Trump, the world always evolves around under Trump, and it has evolved once again, and they revised Trump's economic numbers, particularly his numbers concerning jobs being created.
With breaking news, the new jobs report and the president's tariffs are dragging down U.S. markets at this moment. The July jobs report you see right next to me, this just came out moments ago, and it's weaker than expected. You have just 73,000 jobs added last. But more concerning, the numbers for the previous 2 months have just been revised down by more than 200,000. So this is not encouraging economic information. And it comes as the president's new tariff plan is impacting more than 60 trading partners, including some that have already cut trade deals or at least frameworks. CBS News and Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady.
And with the tariffs that he just imposed, they're not going to help the economy in the interim either. Now, that's not to say that maybe down the line, Trump's tariffs won't make our economy much better. But in the beginning, it's going to cause a lot of shaky, the mindset is going to be shaky towards investing. People don't like to invest in an unpredictable economy. So Trump's tariffs are probably going to make what we're talking about here, at least in the interim, worse. So how did Trump respond? Now that they have revised his numbers downward?
And if you look at before the election, the same kind of thing happened. And I think you'll see some very interesting information come out. But you have to have honest reports. And when you look at those numbers, or when you look at just before the election, and then after the election, they corrected it by 800,000 or 900,000 jobs, yeah, I would say so.
So Trump is basically saying the numbers are rigged. He's saying the numbers are rigged and that he does not trust them. So his response to that is...
The same day as those dismal jobs numbers came out, Donald Trump is firing the Commissioner of Labor Statistics, accusing the commissioner of faking the jobs numbers in a Truth Social post. Today's report not only included lower than expected numbers for the month of July, but huge downward revisions for June and May, as we've been discussing.
So the numbers got revised from positive to a whole bunch of negative information. Trump called the numbers rigged, and then he fired the commissioner. So we're going to talk about that, obviously. Do you believe that the numbers are rigged, as Trump is saying? Do you believe that the commissioner is trying to make Trump look bad? Or do you believe that those numbers are actually accurate and that President Trump just simply does not like bad information being released about his administration and could perhaps be job shopping for somebody that's going to speak more favorably of him? So we're going to talk about that. He's firing the commissioner of labor stats. Now, the commissioner should be able to show information as to why it's a female, as to why she came up with that information. So when he says it's rigged, he should also have to show information as to why he's saying it's rigged. Obviously, we're talking about President Trump. Most of the accusations he makes against people, He does not prove it. He does not need to. A large portion of this country takes Trump at his word. So there likely will never be any proof that the commissioner he fired had rigged the numbers. Him saying it is all that is really necessary for at least a third, if not more, of this country. But we do want to talk about that. But in addition to talking about the revised economy, a couple more topics in the news. And one of them, I want to hear from you guys on one of the topics, because many of you folks probably seen me live in another platform a few moments ago. We're going to talk about that. But before we get to that, this is a blast from the recent past is what we're going to title this.
Harris announced today she will not run for California governor next year. In a statement, Harris says she gave, quote, serious thought to running, but goes on to say, for now, my leadership and public service will not be in elected office. I look forward to getting back out to listening to the American people and helping elect Democrats.
Now, Kamala Harris did not close off the notion that she may run for president in 2028, but she's not running for California governor in 2026. What do you guys think? You think it's about time she ride off to the sunset, or do you believe Kamala Harris could be a worthy foe in favor of the Democrat Party? Do you think she should give it up, or do you think she should stay in the fight and potentially take another swing? Keep in mind, both Trump and Biden, both of those individuals, have ran for president and lost and came back later and won. Both Trump and Biden have done. I believe this was his third go-round. I believe Biden ran for president back in the 80s. He ran again, if I'm correct, either when Hillary Clinton, or better yet, either during the era when Obama won or when Hillary Clinton became the nominee. But I believe Biden ran, and it took him 3 times to get there. Obviously, Trump ran in 2020 and lost. Depends on who you ask, not him, of course, but Trump ran and lost before as well. So the notion that Kamala Harris did poorly in her previous performance, so did Biden. Biden has a previous performance where he did really bad as well, but then he came back and he won. So losing doesn't have to be the end all be it all, because Biden and Trump have proven you can lose and come back and win. So I do want to hear from you folks. What do you think about Kamala Harris riding off into the sunset, or do you believe she should stay in the fight and potentially take another swing at it? 2028, she's young enough. 2032, I think she's 60. I believe she's 60, so she would be 62 or something like that. So she could probably 2028 and probably even 2032, 2028, 2032, maybe even probably even 2036 when you look at how old Trump ass is, and Biden as well. So she got another 15 years or so she could run. So 2028, 2032, and 2036, she could run. But is that a waste of time? So we're going to talk about that. Last but not least, this isn't something I originally came to discuss with you guys, but we're going to talk about it from the standpoint of unity. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I go into other live streams where it's primarily MAGA. I don't go into too many liberal live streams. It's generally MAGA when I go in there. And look, I got thick skin. I don't mind admitting that. I don't mind taking a name calling or whatever. But some of you folks may have just seen me in the live where it really got out of hand. And I was participating in it. It wasn't just me getting beat up. I was doing a lot of beating as well. I don't normally like to get involved in that shit, but look, when I go into MAGA lives, it's usually me against the whole fucking panel. Most of the time, because I am able to orate points, it's just me, and they don't really let a lot of other liberals in it. It could be anywhere from 2 to, I think, 6 people. So generally it's me and several people that have a difference of opinion from me, including the host. The host doesn't usually agree with me either. So, and when I'm in these lives, you're generally going to hear me screaming and yelling and shit because I'm taking on so many people at once, and I don't mind any of that. But I don't favor when they whittle down to name calling. And today's live was exactly that. So if any of you folks saw it, somebody said 8, including the host, 9 max. Yeah, it's a lot of them. And none of them have liberal leanings. I'm fine talking to folks on the other side. You guys know I don't block, ban, or censor. I enjoy talking to my beloved MAGA. Guess I make that clear every day. But unfortunately, when you do that, it's hard to do it without somebody calling you a name. Socialist, libtard, you know, and it just spirals downhill from there. And usually, I try to keep it on topic and just let the names roll off my back. But today, I jumped in the mud with them, and oddly enough, the reason I'm talking about this, oddly enough, the whole fucking panel turned into a bunch of conservative snowflakes. It's amazing. Everybody's for free speech until you say something they don't want to hear. I just, if any of you folks were watching it, you probably can, you can criticize me or back it up from what I'm saying, but it was a whole bunch of conservatives that had a big problem with the insults and stuff I was throwing out there. And some of the insults and names I was throwing out there comes right out of the conservative playbook. They did not like it. Kind of indicated that I need to listen to Michelle Obama. When they go low, you go high. Yeah, well, you just doing the same thing you criticize. I don't know, but it got to be interesting. So we're going to go ahead and go into the comment section. I see Alter Ego says, Tim lost all his quarters in there. Were you watching it, Alter Ego? For you, if any of you folks are watching it, I'm going to start taking notes, taking callers and reading the comments. But just real quick, if any of you folks are watching that, type yes in the comments. I'm just curious to see how many of you folks saw that shit. Type yes in the comments if any of you saw what happened maybe 30, I see Captain America saw 30, 40 minutes ago. I see some of the folks on YouTube is saying, oh, wow, there's a whole lot of you saw it on TikTok. So I'm going to do what MAGA would probably tell me I should never do. What Trump absolutely would tell me I should never do. I'm going to apologize for what you heard. That is not the me I aspire to be. But you guys saw what was happening, and I got in the mud with the rest of them. So I'm going to apologize. I see Alter Ego says I'm still laughing. And you don't want me apologizing, that's Sherbert. I kind of almost sounded as bad as Gangsta Grandma. Plus or minus a few swear words. But that ain't, we like to have civilized conversation here. What do we say? We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with Q. We don't block, ban, or censor. We let everybody speak. So we don't generally get in the mud like that. If I can find some clips of it for some of you folks on YouTube, I may post it. But hopefully we don't get that wild anymore. And that was about a good hour and a half of that. About an hour and a half of that. So anyway, look at you next in. You went in on the blue hair man. Yeah, yeah. The blue hair man is what my guest, one of the viewers is stating. It was a gay man with blue hair, with a blue wig on, speaking nothing but conservative principles and insulting the hell out of me. Now, look, we can go either way on this, but my opinion is that I don't believe the Republican Party is very favorable to members of the LGBTQ community. I was getting insulted and I took it and went way, way below the belt on it. So people call me homophobia. I will admit some of the shit I was saying probably does qualify, but the person was insulting the hell out of me. A gay person voting for Trump, insulting the liberal, to me it sounded like a pit bull going meow. So I went in on him, the person went in on me, and it went out of hand. Anyway, look at in the comments. Somebody said, we support this. YouTube shadow banned my comments. Yeah, catch the fish. We don't, I can't control what YouTube does. Well, we don't block, ban, or censor anyway. And by the way, I was getting muted on that live. When I go into MAGA lives, they're muting you and I get dropped. And we don't do that here. I don't give a shit what you say. As long as the apps allow you to say it, we let you speak without any censorship. I get censored heavily in MAGA environments. And I don't understand that, considering they purchased Twitter and turned it into X to stop that. I get banned, blocked, muted all over the damn place in MAGA. I don't even go in liberal lives. It happens like crazy. Anyway, looking in the comments, one party is much more corrupt. Well, I will say this right now, only for right now, because the Democrat Party is not in power. the Democrat Party do not have the power to be as corrupt. So, I mean, you're going to certainly see more corruption likely coming from the right because they're in power where they can do it. If the Democrats are being corrupt, the right can step in and pretty much stop it because they have most of the power. So, but let's go ahead and start the program off. I love how TDS exposes the lunatics. Well, there was definitely some deranged syndrome in that live. Definitely some of that. I got banned for saying both parties are both corrupt. Why would they ban you for that? You had to say more than that. Your part take saying both parties is corrupt. That's very mild to get banned for. Okay, so continue. Starting out with the program, we're talking about Trump's new revised economy. We're talking about whether Kamala Harris should bow out gracefully or should she continue pursuing the Oval Office. And last but not least, how do we come together where we can have a conversation without insulting the hell out of each other for folks who may have seen me? Let me go ahead and go straight to the box. I'm going to ask that you tap the screen, get the likes on up, certainly help out the program, get your boy on up to about 10,000. It'll help out the algorithm, bring in more MAGA, bring in more folks. Mike, good evening. Welcome to the program. So you were in there, huh, Mike?
Yeah, I heard all that bullshit. First of all, happy Friday there, Tim.
Thank you.
Just tap the screen, share the live, get Tim up to about 20,000.
I like that. Appreciate it.
Early. We can get there. We got to support you, bro, because listen, I only end up in those lives when I see you live, and I'll just peek in, and it's the same shit every time. The crazy part is they think somehow they're right. That's the scary part. Like, that shit was out of control, bro. Like, listening to them talk about him firing that lady. She looks like a liberal.
Yeah, they did.
She looks like a liberal.
They did say that. Yeah.
Yeah, purple hair, and in order for him to fire her, something had to be really wrong.
Yeah.
Listen,
I mean, he wanted to fire Mike Pence, and there was nothing wrong at all.
He wants to fire Jerome Powell. Matter of fact, today, in my opinion, Jerome Powell was vindicated. Because this is why he didn't want to drop the interest rates.
It's a good point. That's a really well taken point. So what do you think he's doing? You think he is, what is she? What? She was the commissioner of labor stats. You think he is commissioner shopping now?
Man, listen, this is what he does. Anybody that says something unfavorable to him, that doesn't kiss his ass, he will fire, and then he'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Right? The reality is people like Jerome Powell, who he's talked about, and Jerome Powell steadfast and kept his position and did his job and pushed back real time when Trump was saying, the budget was 2.7 billion to 3.1 for the new building that they were building, and Jerome Powell pushed back. He was like, no, you're including the building that was built 5 years ago.
Right. I did it on live TV.
In real time. We gotta respect on either side of the aisle. We got to respect anybody that's willing to push back real time in that moment, But what was happening today on that live, and by the way, I was requesting up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Anytime I see them going in on you like that, I'll request up. They never invite my ass up. Ever.
That's what I said earlier, is that it's usually me. I think Stick the Ruler got in, but usually it's me against the whole panel, and they don't generally bring any liberal that comes up and starts pushing back like I do. They kick them out. They throw them out. So it's usually just me by myself in those. I don't mind it, but today's conversation spiraled out of control, and I said things that I would rather have not said.
Why?
I don't like to get in the mud. I am somewhat like with Michelle Obama. I like to host a civilized program, and when I go on those programs, it's anything but.
Yeah, and listen, and you do, and I see you in there, and you typically do. But at the same time, Kim, they know what they're doing, right? They understand what they're doing, but there is a breaking point. Either you drop out of it, or sometimes you got to engage. But it is what it is. But those people aren't going to believe anything. They're not going to believe anything. Like the jobs report.
Yeah.
That jobs report, and again, they always have to restate job reports. So let's just be all administrations will have to go back and restate if the numbers came in after the report came out, or whatever the anomaly is. That happens, but not at a 91% clip.
Yeah, and that's what I said. That's what I said during the monologue of this live is that Trump is saying that the jobs numbers that this woman produced are rigged, and I'm already hearing echoes of it from folks on the right. Like I always say, if Trump says something, it is. No evidence, no proof would need to be made. If he says those numbers were rigged, he starts saying that this woman was appointed by Biden. They've heard enough. They're going to go with that. So if he fired her, which he did, they're going to agree with it. She was trying to hurt the administration.
100%. And again, they have to say it was a Biden, but they don't talk about when his appointees do their job. They never talk about that shit.
Yeah.
They never talk about when his appointees stand up and do the right thing. It's always about these quote-unquote Biden appointees or Obama appointees. Now, if it's an Obama appointee, they were in office when you were in office. So go back and see what decisions they had to make when you were in office and did you push back then. It's so much shit with this dude and his administration and his followers. But the funny thing is, everything that we're saying, think about this, Tim. I don't know if people have thought about this. All the criticism that we give Trump, people that are in his cabinet and support him today gave the same criticism. Ted Cruz did.
Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz said he was Hitler. Like, you're right. There's a whole bunch of them that said some pretty awful shit about Trump.
Even his vice president.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he was Hitler-like. They made a song about it. They took it and made a song out of it.
Well, here go. I knew he was thinking that when he said it. But no, I mean, like the jobs report today, that's when the jobs report came out before, I said something's wrong with this report. But because all the things don't measure up, and they didn't. With the tariffs and the mass deportation, there's certain anomalies that don't show up in a normal forecast. Like we've never had mass deportation since the early 1900s, right? So you don't have any data to say, well, what was happening with mass deportation and a tariff war and other things were happening simultaneously. We've never had those data streams to compare, right? So everything that we're going through is sort of new. Now we're starting to see it. And that doesn't include the federal jobs either.
Yeah. I mean, they really knocked his job numbers down. I mean, that was bad. I mean, for them May and June, my God. I mean, that's very low.
Very low. Matter of fact, was it 14,000?
Yeah.
14,000?
For a country the size of this country, I mean, that's like basically zero.
Yeah. And how many were reported initially? 147,000?
Yeah, it was like 100 and some odd thousand revised downward.
Yes. So again, 147 to 14,000. That's a 90% anomaly.
But you know something? The question has to be asked: where the hell did you get the 147,000 number to begin with? I mean, that's not even close to reality.
Again, this is what. So what happens? I don't know if people know this, but this is just. Remember, I told you about the Doge audits were bullshit. Everything has to be audited, right?
Yeah.
And so when you do an audit and you have this big of a discrepancy, this is what's called a material weakness. And a material weakness is defined as something that is detrimental to your whether it's your finances or your business operation. This would be called a material weakness. Because how do you get such a terrible report? And so then you got to go back and see what was missed, what happened. So, but to just turn around and say, I'm going to fire her, all it does is continue to... And here's the thing. I want to hear him come up and try to make excuses for this shit today.
Well, he said the numbers are... What the excuse is, the one he fired rigged the damn numbers.
Yeah, well, that's his excuse.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? When you were on the other live talking about it, some of your followers, Twisted was in there calling me a racist.
Well, you know the thing about it is, though, like I said, he's not going to have to prove this stuff, and my guess is he is commissioner shopping. But as I heard one news report say, when you fire most of the people that's responsible for reporting the condition of the economy, the condition they give you is not likely to be accurate. I mean, you firing people everywhere. I mean, so the information, even this airplane crash that hit the Black Hawk helicopter there in D.C., even that's starting to look like it's due to people getting fired. I mean, when you're canning people everywhere, there's going to be consequences to it. And the jobs numbers and your economic numbers are probably a consequence to that.
Absolutely. I mean, but here's the thing: it's not going to stop. And people need to understand that there's nothing positive about all of this activity at one time. It's the continual fleecing of America. It's literally the fleecing of America.
But America favored it. They weren't told that what Elon was doing was cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. So America favored the firings. I don't know if there'll come a time when they look back and say maybe we fired too many people. But right now, MAGA is still totally on board with what Elon did while heading Doge.
Yeah, and again, that's what they say publicly, and a lot of them still are.
Publicly, because some of them got fired. So yeah, it's publicly.
exactly. Getting fired and saying, I'm okay with being fired. Somebody came on your live one day. You remember that?
Yeah.
The guy that said he worked for the government and said he was okay with being fired. If it means, I'm like, you dumb motherfucker. Let me tell you, the kind of dissident that's going on right now is absolutely ridiculous. And it is. But what was the other topic that you wanted to talk about? Because I really want to.
Kamala Harris, should she ride off into the sunset, or should she stay in the fight?
I look at it like this, and it's the same analogy I use with people that want to continue to play sports, whether it's in college or the pros. Once you're done, you're done. So if you still feel like that you're fighting the good fight, and you feel like you can make a difference, then keep doing it. Then keep moving forward. I mean, she's young. She's young enough.
Very young.
I mean, she's very young. So if she feels like she still has something to offer to the political landscape, yeah, let her do her thing. I don't know what that ultimately means, but I wouldn't say right off into the sunset. She doesn't have any reason to just summarily just go sit down somewhere and be, if that's not what she feels.
There's definitely a market for Kamala. It may not be a bigger, like in the Oval Office, this is a big market, but even senator may be slightly, but in California, she may have but I'm talking about stuff, certainly she could be mayor of all sorts of cities throughout California. She would easily win. She could probably take the role of governor, which she says she does not want, but there is a market for her. It's just deciding would you be okay being a congresswoman or being a senator or one of these smaller markets or even being a mayor of a town. But I definitely believe there are elections she could win.
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing to say that she can't throw her hat in the ring to run for president again. Listen, whoever the next president is going to have a significant job on their hand because they're going to be cleaning up a lot of shit. I mean, they're literally going to have to help put back the idea that the Constitution matters. Like, this is going to be a deep dive cleanup job. Let's just be honest. People are not even acknowledging the Constitution.
Yeah.
Trump supporters don't even acknowledge. They say they rest their hat on it and the flag and all that shit, but they stop right before they have to actually uphold it and go against MAGA.
I would normally push back, but I mean, when you're talking about getting rid of birthright citizenship, revoking Rosie O'Donnell, they ain't pushing back. I mean, that stuff is clearly unconstitutional. I mean, especially Rosie O'Donnell is probably the perfect example. They're like, yeah, when she went to Ireland, you should take her. I mean, she's an American citizen, born and raised here. She doesn't have a criminal history at all. The only thing she did is pissed off Trump, so he's somewhat taking her citizenship. And MAGA's like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. So, yeah, I guess you're right. I normally would push back, but they are kind of ignoring the Constitution.
Oh, 100%. And I'm going to tell you another thing that's happening in this country right now. This is the first time I've said this to you. So I want you to remember today's the first. And I kind of waited to say this to you for the first so we can go back. White people are going to have to start paying attention to this shit, too, because he doesn't give a fuck about the white folks that push back on him. They're just as bad as black and brown folks.
Are you calling them are you saying that they're N-word lovers?
They're nigga lovers, yes. I said it. I absolutely said it. August 1st, I said it. They're N-word lovers, 100%. Because look at what he said to Rosie O'Donnell. Now, people will say, well, she's that because she come from that community. No, you guys better pay attention. He doesn't give a shit. And fascism does not wait.
Yeah.
Fascism.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, we can talk about the liberals till we blue in the face. There are reasons to talk about the liberals, but yeah, you can't ignore a president threatening to take the citizenship away from a citizen that's an upstanding citizen. She's a taxpayer. I mean, she doesn't have a criminal record or anything. There is no reason whatsoever to be talking about taking away Rosie O'Donnell's citizenship. If you're ignoring that, yeah, you're turning a blind eye to the Constitution. There's no reason for him to be doing that. They're even talking about doing it.
No reason whatsoever. No reason. And the other topic you have, which is about what we're talking about right now, America divided. The divide is going to, if we want to close the divide, white America is going to have to get off their ass and work hard to close the divide.
Before I let you go, I want you to hear this topic. This statement. You know, we get some wild shit. In the comments on YouTube, Handle Your Scandal says, just to be safe, no more black folks in politics for a good while.
What scandal is he talking about? Talking about Obama?
No, his name is Handle Your Scandal.
Oh.
That's the comment. He's saying that, you know, to be safe, let's keep blacks out of politics for a while.
As if black politicians have done something. Like you name me a black politician, whoever that person, I wish they could come up because this is the cowardness. Here's how we know black politicians that have risen to state senators or running for president or making president are about as high quality a candidate you can get. Because in this country, black people cannot ascend to that level without being complete. You talk about, you remember when Barack was running, they were trying to find anything on him. They couldn't find a side piece. They couldn't find nobody that kissed him, that touched his ass, that squeezed his neck. They couldn't find anything on him.
I gotta agree with you. Out of all candidates for office, even all the way down to mayors and shit like that, Barack Obama as a presidential candidate was squeaky fucking clean. They had to sit in his church and actually hold him accountable for what his pastor was saying. There was nothing on him. There was nothing on Barack Obama.
And the same thing with Kamala. They had to go back to, you know, she slept her way to the top, and Willie Brown and all this other shit. So what he's saying to me is that's just that racist shit, because you couldn't find anything that would impede on your ability to look at their integrity and their character and say they're not this person. Because you can't get that far in this country. If you see a black person sitting in leadership, they didn't get there because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're probably overqualified. Let's just be honest.
Well, it depends on how high up you. There's some black mirrors out there that don't know what the hell they doing. We got one in the Chicago area. That's like Dalton, Illinois. What about Kwame Kilpatrick over in Detroit? He's now doing a double-digit bid in federal prison. I don't think Jesse Jackson Jr.'s son, who also was, you know.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean that they don't know what they're doing. Absolute power, right? Absolute power corrupts absolute. That doesn't mean that they didn't know what they were doing to get there, because they couldn't have had those charges to get there, right? Do you think, let me ask you this. Let's say it this way. Do you think Eric Adams, do you think any of the ones you just named would have gotten there with Trump's resume?
Marion Barry from Washington, D.C. got caught smoking crack and got reelected.
He got reelected, but he was good at what he did, though.
Well, some people think Trump was good at what he did.
Again, do you think he would have got elected the first time with Trump's resume?
I don't think Trump would have got elected the first time with his resume.
But the only thing that changed on his resume was he got convicted.
No, the thing that changed on his resume. No, the thing that changed on Trump's resume was all the accomplishments people perceived he did in his first term.
No, listen. Here's what I mean. When they're vetting you, I'm gonna air quotes up. When they're vetting you as a candidate, I'm talking about his first time when he came out to go on the escalator. With the history that he had, being vetted to be the candidate.
I don't know. What was it? When Trump ran for his term the first time, okay, he bankrupted some businesses, which any multi-billionaire businessman. What did he do that was so? What did he do that was so bad that he should not have been able to run during his first term? Talking about President Trump. What did he do? Okay,
perfect. Do you think Barack would have gotten where he was if Michelle would have been Melania? I'm gonna ask it again. Do you think Barack would have got the nomination if Michelle would have been on billboards with her ass and shit hanging out? Do you think this country would have allowed the first lady to be black with that history?
Not for Obama, but if it was for another well-known, long-established black celebrity, maybe. I mean, you got to keep in mind, hold up, when Obama ran, he wasn't that well-known compared to how well-known. Let's say Will Smith was running and he had a wife that was a straight. I think he could go quite far.
Now, I'm not going to say you fluffing, you and I just having the conversation. Just look at the comments. Listen, there is no fucking way. Dude, they talked about her keeping her shoulders out, Tim.
I'm not arguing with you on that. What I'm simply saying is that if you compare Obama to George, well, even George Bush was probably more well-known than Obama. I mean, when Obama was running, he didn't have a huge fan base and stuff like that because he was a senator in Chicago or in Illinois for 2 years, and that was really it. Other than that, nobody knew who the hell he was. Trump's been well-known for most of our adult lives. So give me a black, let's take Bill Cosby before he went through all that bullshit, when he was America's dad. I think somebody like that possible.
You think he could have got away with it? You think Camille could have been on billboards and in Playboy and Penthouse?
I think that Cosby could have.
Not a fucking chance.
When Cosby was well known and highly respected by everybody, including white folks, I think he could have got away with a whole lot more than a new Obama coming on the scene. Maybe not exactly being Melania, but he could have got away with a whole lot more than somebody like Obama, where nobody even knew who the hell they were.
You see all them no's in the comment, Tim?
I see them.
Listen, we don't get. This is a fact in this country. Every black person, or the most of them, that have heard this from our parents growing up, you got to be twice as good just to get here, right? I mean, you got to deal with that shit, right? The reason why our candidates, what happened to Ben Carson? What happened to Mr. Kane when he was running? And that one scandal came out. It only took that one thing and his ass was gone. And that was on the Republican side. Yeah. We don't get the same grace, Tim. There's no way.
I'm not saying we get the same grace, but I am saying that there are some of us that can sustain or weather bad shit more than others. If you got a long-standing amount of celebrity, like Beyonce or somebody like that, they're not going to treat her. Michelle Obama, when she first came on the scene, is not going to get the benefit of the doubt like somebody like Beyonce, where people's known, they've known her for decades. They've known Trump for decades.
Did we know Melania for decades?
No, but we're only looking at it because it's Trump. Now, if Melania ran on her own, that's a different story.
They wouldn't have gave a fuck either. So let's stay right here. And I know you got to go, but I'm going to stay right here. Think about this. Do you think Barack Obama or Jesse Jackson, you pick any one of those black, do you think they would have gotten the nomination with 6 bankruptcies?
Not likely. Not likely.
Would have been.
Not likely.
Black folks can't manage money. He had 6 bankruptcies. How the fuck is he going to take care of the... Tim, none of the shit that Trump got away with, 25 allegations since the 70s of sexual allegations, you think a black man would have gotten... Come on, Tim.
I'm still going to go back to my original statement. It depends on the black man. If it's a super rich black man that everybody like, I think the bankruptcies might be forgiven more. But if it's somebody nobody knows, then that's different. Let's say Jay-Z, for instance. Heavily respected throughout the black community. I think a bankruptcy or two, he could still continue pushing on.
I don't see it at all. Matter of fact. So at the time, well, I don't want to use Kanye because he wasn't really respected in my opinion. But the history of this country does not allow us to get past our obstacles, and they put these in the systems to make sure that happens.
But you're admitting Marion Barry, the mayor of DC, got reelected even though he was on video smoking crack. So obviously some people can get through.
The only difference between Marion Barry and every other city is he was in Chocolate City, and it was 85%, 75% black?
I don't know the percentages.
I know at the time it was pretty high up there, and he had done a good job for the country. And that's the one anomaly. You can't mention anybody else ever that did that shit.
I'd have to ponder on it. I'm leaning more towards you're more right than I agree with you more than I disagree. But I'd have to think on it. But I do got to move it on, Mike. Thank you.
Hey, listen, let's get the numbers up. We had 30,000. Hey, Tim, I need to start getting a cut. I got you up to 30,000.
No, you want a cut? I need to see some motherfucking galaxies. I don't get anything for clicking the screen. Thank you.
Fair enough.
Appreciate it. All right. Moving on with the program. Somebody said, who said, Portia said fluffing. That's not fluffing. We don't fluff here, Portia. Thank you for your input, by the way. All right, looking in the comments, though, do you keep saying look at the comments as a poor, huh? But I don't see that. What are you talking about there? I don't know. Somebody in the comments says, do you keep saying look at the comments as a poor? What does that mean? But I don't see what I see is kind of 50-50. It makes no sense at all. It all depends, but Tim just have a good point, though. We have to take that in concern. And that's what I'm saying is that I do believe some, even because he's right, America as a whole is probably going to put the minority class through the ringer more than they would the majority class. Just like, and that ain't something that you can just pin on white people. I would say even in an all-black area, they're going to be more forgiving of a person that's black that's went through some bullshit or went through some shit than they are for somebody who's white. But the country's mostly white, so it's going to appear that they're doing it more for white people. But I do believe that there are some African Americans, some black people, that can get away with a history of doing bad shit more than someone else. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that Obama could. Listen, what Trump, the way Trump is portrayed, some of the things he said, some of the things he's done, obviously being convicted of damn near 36 charges. Yeah, he's being treated better than most people. Most of the people in this country could not get away with what he's gotten away with and simply be able to say, well, fuck it, the system mistreated me. And everybody agrees that the system mistreated. In most cases, it don't matter how much you plead that you're innocent. If the system says you're guilty, everybody else believes you're guilty. You see how many immigrants are pleading that they're being mistreated wrong, and Trump is saying, no, they're guilty, and we saying, well, they're guilty. Trump is the only one that the system can say he's guilty, and no, I'm innocent, and people believe that he's innocent. So I do agree that Trump is getting, I guess I'd say special treatment. He's getting treated better than virtually anybody else could get treated under those circumstances, where, I mean, no matter what he says, people just take that as face value. You don't have to prove it or say anything. He said the charges were trumped up. The election was rigged. Now he's saying his economic numbers are rigged. He said that Obama tried to steal the 2016 election. He once said Obama tried to bug his office. People just believe that stuff. You don't need to prove any of that shit. He never proved that Obama bugged his office. Didn't need to. Nobody asked. That was good enough. So he does get special treatment compared to everybody else. Anyway, looking in the comments though, crazy criminal talking about supposedly criminals, yeah? And he gets away with it. So Trump's racist for writing you when nobody else would, huh? What does that mean? Trump is racist for writing you when I don't know. Look, I don't know. I guess that's meant to somebody else because I didn't say something like that right now. Trump won his second term because he was running against Kamala Harris. That's part of it, handsome conservative. By the way, tap the screen. Get the likes on up to about 45,000. Go ahead and take the next caller. That's part of it, obviously, running against Kamala Harris, who only had 100 days to run, and she's running against a guy that people have known their whole damn life is an uphill battle. But as I stated, another reason why Trump won, in addition to people perceive that he done a pretty good job economically during his first term. That helped him out. But also the fact that he could say stuff and not have to prove it. It's hard to go against anybody that can do that. That's like a fucking superpower. He can say stuff and people just believe it. I don't even think the left would do that for Obama, who's the most popular liberal out right now. He can't just say some shit and people just believe it at face value. Trump can do that. Denkel, good evening or welcome to the program. Thank you for the support too there, Denkel. I didn't want to make sure that didn't go unnoticed. Denkel. So, what am I getting wrong? They're accusing me of fluffing. Am I fluffing?
Yeah, you tread water, man.
How the hell am I fluffing?
I understand you gotta maintain your audience. So I stopped
pointing that out to you a long time ago because you try to be unbiased and you gotta give MAGA something to hold on to.
I give MAGA respect. That's what we're holding on to. I treat MAGA. I don't believe in disrespecting and talking down to my guests. I give MAGA respect, just like anybody else.
You sounded like Trump now. I'm giving them respect.
But mine is believable. I get MAGA all the damn time telling me, yes, you do show us respect, even though I don't agree with shit. Ain't no liberal gonna tell Trump, yeah, you give us respect. He's lying. I'm not lying. Trump is lying. Trump don't respect. Didn't he just say the other week that he hates all Democrats? Respect my ass. What is this, Rodney Dangerfield all over again? You know, he don't get, as Rodney would say, I don't get any respect at all. And Successful MD said, from this day forward, call me King Orange Maggot. I guess he's in the comments going back and forth. So, Kamala Harris, should she bow down and ride off into the sunset, or should she take another swing at it?
I think she should take another swing at it, but it's okay for her to step away from this shit for a while. She's been dealing with this shit for 10 years now. And 6 months, 6-7 months, we don't have any power. She would just be pissing in the wind if she came out every month and made speeches and shit. Like,
wait, where are you getting 10 years from?
I'm saying, well, she's been fighting. Well, no, it's been what, eight years?
She won the 2020 election, so they campaigned throughout 2019, maybe some of 2018. So that's about the most of it, unless you talk about something she did during the Obama administration.
No, I'm just saying that's what she dealt with, like this Trump being in office. Remember, she was the one. She was in Congress at the time. Remember, she was doing the.
She was a senator, wasn't she? She was a senator. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mike.
So she's been in.
Thank you, Mike. Wow, thank you. Well, and I agree. I mean, to some degree, we're all dealing with Trump, so I get your point. Right, exactly. I get your point. Would you see her? Whoa, shit, Mike. Thank you. Would you see her as a viable candidate for president at this point?
I think if we talking about if she wanted to do something in 2028. And she just stayed on the sideline. She could try to reinvent herself. People in politics do that all the time. So I'm not saying that she couldn't, but I don't know. But that's a decision up for her. I don't think anybody should be like, people is like criticizing her.
Well, a lot of folks blame her.
She's saying she said she's been a civil servant most of her life.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people are criticizing her because they believe she's she's a good deal responsible for why the Democrats lost. I mean, she got up there and said she wouldn't do anything different from Biden. People thought she was a terrible candidate.
Exactly. So she made some mistakes, and she ended up losing. But I mean, like saying she's a terrible candidate when you had the propaganda machine running against her like that is Trump. I mean, her criticisms, the way she laughs,
yeah.
You don't understand what she's talking about, and she's literally a fucking lawyer. She slept her way to none of that.
Yeah.
She was.
It's all below. I get your point. It's all below the belt type shit that you don't normally deal with as a presidential candidate.
Right. Yeah. She was too harsh. When she was a prosecutor, she was putting away too many black people. Like, that shit was, like, not really legitimate criticisms. But they labeled her, and like I said, the propaganda machine that is MAGA and Trump, they labeled her as. But I think if the political climate changes between now and then, I think she has a decent chance. And, it wouldn't hurt.
Well, it ain't gonna, unless Trump perishes, Trump is going to be involved in the 2028 election, so that climate ain't going to change between now and then.
Well, it'll change if they lose the midterm. He'll still be talking shit, but the amount of stuff that he can actually do will change.
Well, the way they gerrymandering shit and refusing to even take the orders of judges, I don't think they can lose the midterms. I don't think they're going to accept anything but you see what Trump just did with the economic numbers. I don't like the numbers you give me, your ass is gone. It's kind of like You know, back in the day when they had kings and shit, you either, you know, the court gesture or whatever. If you report some bad news, I'm gonna take your fucking head off. That's what Trump is starting to turn into. It's like shit. Like you standing outside of his door shaking, and the guard asks, "What's wrong with you?" I got bad news. I don't want to go in there. They motherfucker gonna kill you. Like, I mean, he's starting to turn into that kind of guy.
He is, and all of the people that were willing to step up and tell him when he was wrong before, they gone now. Everybody who used to was there before. He don't even. Have you heard anything about his chief of staff?
He's doing it on his own.
Chief of staff?
I don't even know. Is it all? No, I don't know. I mean, it used to be.
It's a female. It's a female. I forgot her name, but that's what I'm saying. Like, the chief of staff is supposed to be the gateway to the president.
Yeah.
He's supposed to control all meetings. He's supposed to control all agendas.
Wasn't that somebody? Didn't he combine Marco Rubio or something with that position or something crazy? Or I don't think you're right. I don't even know who that person is.
Right. It's a female. I think her last name is Tribe or something. It's some. Yeah. She ain't doing shit. He just running around. He just talking on every website, on every camera he can find. I mean, damn, the dude, how you just go? Now, when Biden was in office and he had his numbers revised back, Trump chimed in and was like, "Yeah, see, you guys were lying about the economy. It was never as good as you said they are." Now that it happens to him, all of a sudden, it's the person. It's a whole team of people. It's not one person that just makes the numbers up and fucking puts them out.
But that's also why I said I mentioned that on the last live we had when I stated he needs to have some kind of handler. I know Trump likes to do his own thing and lead the way, but like when he said that Epstein took girls from him and shit, a chief of staff or somebody would have told you, sir, somebody need to grab him or something like that. Like, I don't know who let him say something that is that harmful that you're going to come out and admit that Epstein may have taken a minor from you that was working in a spa. Like, that's about as bad as it can get. Direct contact with grown-ass men, and he took that from you. You had one of them girls working for you. And, like, you need somebody.
Now her family is like, oh, so you know more about, our family member than you said. We'd like to know how you hired her, what you had her doing. When you say somebody gets stolen from you, that sounds like it was a possession of yours. You know what I'm saying?
It sounds like a bad episode of Liam Neeson in Taken. That's what it sounds like. I mean, but for him to come out and say, like all this suspicion is orbiting around you, why would you come out and say, you didn't even have to say this. Nobody was even suspecting you of saying, I mean, you literally gave people ammunition. Like, why would you say something wild like that?
And just, you have a press secretary who's supposed to be going out and talking for you. You don't need to be, even when he on damn Air Force One, he just opened the door and shit to all of the reporters and start taking questions and shit.
Yeah.
And saying dumb shit. Like,
I give a man credit for being transparent and willing to talk to the cameras, but if what you're saying is not honest, or if what you said can get you roped up, you're not actually doing anything of benefit. I mean, I like having a president that talked to the people, as they said about Biden hiding in his basement or whatever. Trump is willing to talk for hours, but the stuff he is saying.
If you're talking for hours and you just lying and giving out false information, we're different because you say you like a president that gets out and talk to the people. The president has 1,000,001 issues he's dealing with. I don't want to ask him no questions unless he's talked to the professionals. He's got a coherent, address that he's going to put out to the people. I don't want to hear last night somebody said something about me and, this lady.
He covers it all. He covers it all.
This lady fudged the numbers on me and at least go.
And my MAGA Saturday, I was not going to like this, but he literally fits the definition of victim mentality. Every time he talks, he's a victim of somebody. I mean, like somebody fucking with my numbers, they fucking with my election, they trying to fuck with my freedom. Every time you talk to him, somebody is victimizing him, and they don't see it. They just agree with him on all of this stuff. Like, how can one man be a victim of every damn thing?
And all of the evil people that we know are evil, he just gets up there like Ghislaine Maxwell. I wish her well in trial. How is you wishing the pedo well at her trial? And now, what do they got to say about now they done moved her to a medium of
Texas.
minimum security? What are they saying now?
Well, I don't know what they're saying, but I think it's pretty obvious that Jazane is on her way to getting something out of this that she should not have gotten. If Trump had simply just honored his promise of letting everybody know what was going on, Jazane would not have been in a position to start making demands and asking for shit. But because Trump has been so hesitant to tell people what's going on with this, people are like, well, fuck it. If you won't talk, I'll go talk to her. And now she's able to ask for shit that she should never be able to ask for, because of how he's acting.
And they've already given her immunity. That's why she answered all of the questions that the assistant attorney general was asking her. There's no way no one damn person is supposed to go in that prison and talk to a convicted pedophile about anything.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of how you feel about Trump, love him or hate him, this stinks like a cover-up. I don't know. We won't find out if it is probably for a while, but this has every hallmark of being something. I mean, just the way he's handled it. The list don't exist. I'll get this on the desk. It's a Democratic hoax. I've ordered Congress to release it. What the fuck? Like, I mean, this is probably the definition of a cover-up, to the point where people are like, well, goddamn, I'd rather talk to the damn pedophile. I mean, because you're hiding everything. Fuck, the president won't give it to me. Maybe the pedophile will tell me what's going on. So that he's really empowered Maxwell. He's empowered her.
Right, and we don't have to wonder if it's a cover up. Whenever you give relief to a convicted felon and move her to a better prison,
that's significantly better.
That's already. That means you are giving aid and comfort to a known convicted pedo.
Yeah, moving you from
say all that they want to.
Yeah,
he's not. He. If he was in the files, everybody else would have released it. That's not an excuse. Nobody's saying he didn't do the shit. All that they saying is blaming somebody else. Well, he couldn't be in the files because they would have released it. Well, maybe they were doing like every other Department of Justice, and they don't fucking share the shit with the President of the United States about ongoing investigation. Maybe that's what happened.
Yep.
It didn't get released.
Yeah, moving her to a lower level or a minimum security prison, for people that are inmates, that's a life change. And I mean, if you go from a level, maximum security or something like that, down to what they call a camp, even if you don't get out, that's a significant increase in quality of your life. I mean, that makes a big. You can get visits, the type of food they serve. I mean, the freedoms you have in the facility. That's big.
You're far less to get jacked up because those people are the medium. The medium level prison. Those people are getting ready to get out, so they less likely to assault you or do anything because they getting ready to get out. So if you go to hang out with them, they in there cooking their own food, just like Martha Stewart. She was in there, they let her be the chef and all kinds of shit.
I mean, not to mention, they got something to lose when you start going into the lower level prisons, because they know the option always exists to get bumped up to a maximum security. They got something to lose, which is an incentive not to get in fights and drama all the time, because they don't want to go there either. So, I mean, in addition to the ones you're talking about that's about to get out, I mean, just knowing that I got to spend years in a minimum security, but if I act in ass, they're going to bump me up to a maximum security where I might lose television freedoms and yard time and all kinds. That's an incentive for me to not get in drama.
Right. Hey, Black Bowl 6 said it right. Why not send her to El Salvador? Didn't he say the homegrowns he was going to send them out? Now he giving her better accommodations. And look, these people MAGA could go on and on and on, but I don't want really, they arguments hold no water now that we see what he's doing with this pedophile. They not talking to the families. They haven't mentioned a word about feeling bad for the families or the victims. All he worried about is that he don't want that shit to come out because he got his name on it.
But what about in the comments? Maybe there's more to it. Crazy 504 says Trump is playing 8D chess. I don't know what that is, but Trump is playing 8D chess on top of the lib's head. Catch up and read the law. War manual, wake up. 8D chess. Have you ever played that before? 8D? Wow.
That is their catch-all. When they have nothing else to say and they cannot explain away his bullshit, that's what they say. He's so far advanced ahead of us. If he's so far advanced ahead of us, he would have never had that woman come out there and say it wasn't no damn list.
Yeah, and that's to me that's where the religious comparisons come into hand, because a lot of times when we don't know what's going on in our lives, we always say, well, God has a better plan. God is playing 8D chess. We don't know how to explain it. Why you took my daughter away? Why you took my wife away? He has. That's what they're looking at Trump like. No matter what's going on or how bad it looks, he's playing chess. He has some kind of better plan that we don't know just yet.
Right. And they use the same excuse when it comes to the law. He got convicted of 34 felonies. Well, those wasn't real trials. What the fuck?
I gotta move it on, but this is our guy, didn't count. Little bit less than 3.5 years, so this is what we working with. Appreciate it, man.
But
Go ahead. I'll give you the last word.
They letting the pedos get off like this, man. I'm not feeling that.
He's not confirmed yet. It's allegedly. You haven't proven that he's violated anybody yet. So I get that.
He's already given aid and comfort. That's all we need to know. We don't have to don't have to even talk about the other stuff. When you are giving aid and comfort to this woman trafficked hundreds of thousands of little girls. You do not give her, if he was mad at Epstein for what he was doing with them girls, why in the hell is you telling her, you know what I'm saying, he giving her, wish her well, and now he moving her to a better place? He was with them folks. He knew exactly what was going on. Everybody can say that. Wow, we don't really know. We understand human fucking behavior. And that motherfucker was friends with him for over 15 fucking years. And even after the time they said he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, he was still a member up until 2007. He was still a member.
I think the biggest thing you said that hits home is giving aid to a known pedophile. At this point, by moving her to a lower security facility, that is undeniable. That's exactly what is happening at the behest of the Trump administration.
Sure. So we don't even have to think about the other stuff that he could do if he pardons her. If he pardons her, then what are they going to say?
We'll have a show. We'll certainly have a show on it. Dinko, I do got to move it up.
All right.
Thank you. And he's absolutely right. That is something that is indisputable at this point, that the Trump administration is giving aid and comfort to a convicted pedo. I mean, they are moving Jazane to a better facility, a facility that's better for her own quality of life. So that's indisputable. That's undeniable. No matter how much you defend Trump or anybody else in this matter, that has happened. Kamala Harris should fight. Don't give up. Yet there's many different ways to attack MAGA and Trump to win. It's not over until Trump and Epstein files break. The lady needs to sing. Well, we all need to hear a gangsta grandma. Really? Okay. Well, in regards to whether Kamala Harris should give up or not, I don't know if I see any decent pathway for her in 2028, but I've been wrong plenty of times. MAGA has proven me wrong, and I get liberals on the program that prove me wrong all the time, but I don't know. I don't think Kamala Harris is it, but we'll see. Handsome Comics says, just like how the tsunamis are going to hit different parts of the world, that's what's going to happen to the Trump administration. I don't know, Handsome. I don't know. I mean, I don't see any significant pushback coming towards Trump from the right. And that's up to and including even when he's literally flat out telling judges, you don't have the right to rule this way on this matter, or I don't give a damn what the Constitution says, I'm going to do it this way. And they're not even pushing back on that. So, I mean, I think this is one of the first times we've ever had a president that literally tells a judge, so what? I'm not going to follow what you ruled on. Because at the end of the day, with him controlling all the power, if he does not follow a judge's order, what level? There's no enforcement. He really has little to no incentive. Like with Abrego Garcia, he was not listening to any of that shit. I mean, so when you know there's no enforcement, you know, okay, the judge don't like what I did. So what? The judge ruled that I do this. So what? I don't think I have to. I mean, what you gonna do? He's the president of the United States. You can't really do nothing about it. We've never had somebody basically tell a judge, fuck you before. Successful MD says, are his lies really transparent or clear as mud? So, you know, look, some of the things he say is obviously, you know, don't appear to be true on face value. But then again, I do give Trump credit for, he does let you know what he's planning on doing. I mean, he ran on largest deportation in history. He ran on the tariffs. He ran on, you know, stuff like not sending money overseas and stuff like that. He's had to change his tune on a lot of it, but he does let you know what he's running on. I'll leave it at that. Before we go back to the comments, ask Dencal. Sorry I missed that handsome comic. I do apologize. You wanted to be asked Dencal. Joe Rogan is definitely going to vote Democrat. Ask him what he thinks about that. Well, if Joe Rogan doesn't come out and say it on his show, it's only worthy of one vote. If Joe Rogan is going to vote Democrat, I want to hear him announce that on his show because he's at risk of losing all that MAGA support. So let's see if he's bold enough to say it on his show, though. All right, continuing on with the program. Trump throws bones and like a dog, y'all chase it. He's the president. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, when you say, you know, Trump, you know, liberals got TDS syndrome, you know, Trump deranged syndrome, or they follow everything Trump. He's the president of like 350 million people. If he throws a bone, of course people are going to follow. What do you expect him to do? Ignore what he's saying? He's the president of the damn country. Going back to the box, Miss Mo Betta. Good evening, if I can get it here. I don't know. Welcome to the program. No fluffing, right?
You was skating. You was
what am I doing so wrong? I'm trying to figure out what the hell am I doing that's so wrong.
Because when it comes to you calling Trump, him speaking transparency, that's not transparency. That's self-loathing. He's getting up and fluffing himself, and people are calling transparency. It's transparency when you're telling the truth. I'll tell you, he blinks lies. So
that's what I get told. I get told that. Huh? I get told the same thing. I blink lies.
Yeah, no. He gets up there and he lies. And his fans, they're not supporters because, you know, they're fans. His fans buy into that bullshit.
Hold on one second, real quick in the comments. I think it says Dirty Money, i.e. D-I-R-T-I-E. Dirty Money says, Gangsta got her teeth in today. This is not Gangsta Grandma.
Get your shit right. As a matter of fact, hold on. This is what we gonna do.
They're not gonna see you. It's there on YouTube. They're not gonna see you. They're on YouTube. They can't see you. They're on YouTube.
Tell them YouTubers to shut the front door.
But that's
tell them to shut all the way up.
Okay. That's a different system for folks watching.
He stopped talking about Elon and canceling his contracts and different things like that. Because
I know
when he came out and said that Trump was on that list, he knew the truth. He knew the truth. So Trump know that he used Elon to win this election. He's gonna need him again.
I think that may be one area, because I always say people need to, you know, some of Trump's handlers need to talk to him. I think that may be one area where his handlers did tell him, if you start threatening Elon and it comes out where we actually got to look into what he said, whether it's true or not, you do realize it could cause problems. Like right now with him suing the Wall Street Journal, that may happen. I mean, if you want this suit to go forward, there's a discovery phase where they get a chance to prove the validity of what they're saying. Do you really want to go through that?
Do you really want to go through that? So that he's going around with these little bit of, lawsuit, $16 million here. I mean, it's a little bit to him. It's a lot to us because I ain't got $16 million in my bank.
And I ain't never gonna have it.
throw those little things around so I could ease my way in with everything else.
Yeah, and real quick in the comments, Andre Gary says, shouldn't there be an impeachment hearing or something? Pedophiles is a serious crime, and the possible perpetrator still representing our nation. Well, he hasn't been proven to be a pedo. It's just an accusation at this point.
That's the thing. He's been found liable because of statute of limitation or some shit.
No, not of abusing underage minors. He hasn't.
No, but just abuse. Period. I don't care whether they're underage or overage. Keep your fucking hands to yourself with your little ass dick. Oh
But wait a minute, though. All the stuff you talking about, that stuff culminated before he became president and people voted for him anyway. So you can't impeach a guy for something you already knew and voted him in for.
Yeah, well, he should be impeached. But the hard thing about that is,
impeach him for what, though? What did he do?
All his cronies are running the government right now. Who in Congress that's on the right side of the aisle is going to say, let's impeach him?
But impeach him.
All he needs is J.D. Vance to break the tie and vote, whether half wants and half doesn't.
But this is where the witch hunt talk comes in. Impeach him for what? What would you impeach him for?
First, I'd impeach him for being an asshole. Second of all, just as an abuse of power. Look how many things that are going on, like the lady he fired today. The lady that got fired. If you don't see that as a fascist abuse of power, you're lying, the truth ain't in you.
Well, I believe he had, even though I don't favor why he fired the labor stat commissioner or whatever the case, whatever the title was. I think he's commissioner shopping, but I believe he has a legal right to do that. I don't think he can be impeached for that.
He goes around just firing people because he has the legal right to do it. Listen, does that make it morally correct?
No, but you can't impeach him for it.
I'm sure there's a lot of other things that I'm at a brain fog right now.
But that makes it sound like a witch hunt when it makes it sound like you're just looking for reasons to impeach him.
It ain't no witch hunt, Tim. The numbers ain't lying. The stuff don't lie. That's abuse of power. And not only that, the things that he doesn't prove any of them. Give me something that Trump did that you believe is a clear-cut case of abuse of power worthy of impeaching him for. Let me see. Firing generals because you make a trumped-up charge. You fired the lady that ran the Congress library because of some trumped-up stuff.
I'm not a fan of any of the.
You have the legal right to do it, maybe so. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of any of those terminations, but yeah, I don't think you can impeach him for that.
It's crazy, because they're trying to. No, again, because he has all his cronies in office, and that's the only reason why he does what he does. Now he keeps saying that these secret donors are going to help him build the ballroom in the White House.
Do you believe that? Do you believe it?
Our money. We're going to do this with our money.
I believe officially.
He's full of shit.
I believe Trump is telling the truth officially that they're going to do it with their own money, but unofficially, there's probably a million.
And he's going to charge the government for it.
Right, and that's the point I'm making, is that officially they'll write a check or whatever it takes to show that the money came from his donors, but unofficially there's a million backdoor ways to get that money back to them.
But Tim, you're talking about homelessness, groceries, gas, all of that stuff going up, and your main objective is to build a ballroom in the White House, a place that you never even in. He's on Air Force One more than he's on anywhere.
Well, but he can say historically he made the White House look better.
He didn't even want to put up Obama in the picture. Like, come on. It's a whole total disrespect.
I hear you mentioned impeachments, by the way. When you mentioned impeachments, by the way, I hear they're removing those impeachments from his Smithsonian. So that will not.
I just read that just this evening, where they're going to take it off, and you can't. But see, do you see the correlation here with all the stuff that will that it's almost treasonous, Tim? It's just.
I don't want to go down the road.
Using weapons of mass destruction. He's doing it in other ways.
I don't want to go down the road of treason, but I will say this: if you don't believe federal money should go to NPR or some of these colleges because you think what they're doing is wrong or it's not accurate, How should federal money go to your Smithsonian when you're removing parts of your actual presidential history? I mean, it's the same thing. You want to remove liberal institutions.
That he feels that is connected to him and is negative. He wants to paint himself out to be this savior because he's shooting for the Nobel Peace Prize, which he has not earned. You see that little bitch that get up and speak for him, his press secretary, that little hoe.
Yeah, I know you're talking about. You're talking about Carolyn Leavitt. Carolyn Leavitt. She's 27 years old, ain't she? She young.
She's 27. I think he's 67. Ain't her husband?
She look a lot older than 20. They really dress up like she's straight out of Leave It to Beaver. I mean, they dress up like a straight Christian little church girl. I mean, she don't look 27 at all.
But, I mean, he lies. He inflates numbers. He does when you got checked by Jerome Powell on national TV. Because for you, and then he had Stephen Fetchit standing next to him, talking about, I think it's like 3.2 million, eh?
I know the minute Powell checked him on national TV, his wife was at home on LinkedIn, like, let's update your shit. Because Powell is gone.
He's going to look for a way to fire Jerome for that.
Powell is definitely going to get fired.
And the only reason why he hasn't done it yet, because then it really would be abuse of power because you got checked. Because Jerome wasn't wrong about his numbers, Trump was.
How about this? Now, this is in the comments. Seven Digital, I think it says the argument against Trump is so damn baseless. Please just wait until he actually does something wrong. Till then, acknowledge he is doing the job well. Why won't you acknowledge the man is doing a good damn job?
What is well about people losing health insurance? What is well about people losing their jobs? What is well about people criminalizing people that committed no crimes? And I'm not even talking about just the migrants. What is well about turning agents into thugs? Invading people on their jobs and he's trying to even deport American citizens, people that were vetted, people that are legal to be here. He's even trying to get rid of those type of people.
But I could.
What is he doing that's so great? Because I don't know about y'all. I went to the grocery store today. One bag cost me $70.
But I could counter your list of stuff that you don't like about Trump and say, what is so wrong about securing the border? What is so wrong about getting unknown immigrants out of this country? What is so wrong about imperial?
No problem with that.
All right, so that's where the good job is coming from. They see things he's done as good.
He's doing a poor job at that too.
You think he's gonna?
You got kids. He's separating children from their families. Yes, he is. There's videos all over with him separating the kids from their families.
But hold on. Hold on, hang on. 2 points. First of all, Barack Obama separated kids from their families as well. Second of all, if you commit a crime, even if it's still in a bag of potato chips and you happen to have your kid with you, there's a chance they may separate you from. That's part of our criminal process. You don't get to take your kid to jail with you.
What's the so-called crime that's being committed, Tim?
This
is where you're fluffing. Where's the criminals? Where's the actual criminals that are committing these crimes that are still walking around on American soil? I'm not saying that they don't. However, what the numbers and stuff that I'm seeing where crimes are being committed by American citizens. Look at the guy that shot up New York last week. He was an American citizen.
The point is, if you're in the country and you have no legal right to be here, you are a walking criminal.
Listen, none of us should be here then if that's the case. We're all on stolen land.
That's a different argument.
If that's what you want to do.
That's a different argument.
We're on stolen land. How did they come about owning so much land here? And I don't want to hear George Washington as a founding father. That's a bad title. He might be one of the forefathers, but he is not the founding father of this country. It's all stolen land.
The entire world recognizes the country as ours now, Mr. Mobetta. You're going back like 300 years.
Okay, I get that. If that's the case, they're not even angry about Israel. Why are we
even the Native Americans and the Mexicans recognize the country as ours at this point. So I don't know why you're bringing that up.
I mean, but how far is that actually getting us, Tim?
What do you mean?
With them just recognize, they still giving Native Americans trouble about claiming their land.
No, the Native...
You stop paying your taxes on the house that you purchased. Watch the government come and take that. Who gave them the authority to make that their land?
They did that once they took the place over.
Because they stole it.
Oh, I'm not denying it wasn't conquered and stolen. I agree that happened.
To stop that, knock it off.
But yeah, but how do you respond?
People that talk that shit that claim to be Christians. Stop.
Well, but how do you respond to the fact that most property on Earth was stolen from somebody else at one point?
I can't speak for any other land because I don't know that. I can only speak for where I know.
Okay. I mean, conquering is...
And I've done the research on it. So I dare any of them to challenge me on it.
All right. That's fair. That's a fair point. But I'm just simply saying that, you know, if you're in the country and you are here illegally, the chance of you being separated from your child is kind of...
It's a big risk. It's a risk. I understand that. But still, the Constitution is what it is. You understand? And that's the thing. He's ignoring anything that it says in the Constitution with his flip-flopping ass. How many... He said that, if you ain't got nothing to hide, why plead the fifth? How many times did he plead the fifth?
Yeah, he did say that, and them words did not age well. That is true.
It didn't age well. I mean, listen. He's falling asleep at these at these meetings and shit. So I call him D3, dozing diaper Don.
Oh my Lord.
They call him Sleepy Joe. He's dozing diaper Don.
Well,
that's who he is. D3.
Well, Coach Deion Sanders just got a sponsorship from Depends because he said I now have to depend on Depends after having his blast.
Deion Sanders had a whole bladder cancer. That's a whole different story.
Well, Trump is 80. Trump is 80. I mean, an 80-year-old having incontinence is not that uncommon.
But still, stop getting out here acting like you the shit then.
So stop acting like you the shit and admit you the piss.
Stop pointing your finger at somebody else when you know you got a bunch of shit going on. And that's my whole problem. He demonizes anything that doesn't like him. That's where the abomination and all of this shit come from. Because as soon as you say something to him about, Kamala can't read, Joe Biden can't do this, what the fuck can you do?
All right, Mr. Mobetta, I agree with you 100%. If Trump gets bad news or you say something about him, you criticize him, he don't like you. 100% agree with that. 100%
he has a
agree
very
with that.
vengeful heart and a vengeful spirit, and I can't fuck with nothing like that. I'm sorry. Not sorry.
3.5 years to go.
Yeah, y'all listen, well, hopefully in the midterms, people come to their senses. And once the midterms come and a lot of these people start losing their Senate seats, which I believe is going to happen because you see they're trying to redline Texas and do all kinds of stuff and gerrymandering. All of that stuff comes from him. He instructs them to do this stuff. This is what makes him so criminal.
Well, he is our commander-in-chief. Mr. Mobetta, thank you.
Y'all tap the screen, get them lights up.
Hell yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming through. In the comments, someone advised me that you don't have to commit a crime to be impeached, by the way. Yeah, but I'm trying to see who's gotten impeached for not committing a crime. I mean, obviously Nixon got impeached because he oversaw basically what amounted to burglary. Bill Clinton lied, which the crime of perjury was committed. Trump got impeached twice. One for allegedly trying to stage a coup or an insurrection. What was the Russian collusion thing? I guess was that technically a crime? The allegations they made against him with colluding with Russia. I mean, I guess that would have been trying to steal an election, which is criminal. I guess so. I don't know. I don't know anybody who's ever been impeached for something that wasn't considered a crime. But your point is taken that you don't have to commit a crime to get impeached. If it's not something very serious and you're trying to take down a U.S. president, people are going to yell witch hunt. Ask the Smithsonian if Trump was impeached. Like we talked about earlier, they're removing that. And to me, that's doing Trump an injustice. That's really doing Trump an injustice. He's doing himself an injustice by doing it, because obviously that's coming by him ordering it. But when children go to his Smithsonian or his, because it's probably going to be removed from his library. So in the future, when they go there, their teachers are going to tell them what happened. I mean, that's a major part of U.S. history during the time he was president. I mean, there's only been, how many presidents been impeached? I think two. It's only been a handful of them. So, obviously Nixon and Clinton. Who else got impeached other than those two? There's another one back there, I believe. But yeah, you can't erase that from history. So, I mean, you probably have some. I mean, my guess is for the first few years, Trump's library and all that shit opened up, you got people protesting out front of that. Probably even handing the little kids flyers that talk about the impeachment on there because you won't get this inside of your tour. I don't know why he would do that. It would be better to let the impeachments be discussed and then also play clips of him claiming it was a witch hunt and all of that stuff. But to try to remove something that actually happened in a presidential setting that just plays into the notion that this guy does not tell you the truth. He shouldn't try to get rid of that. Supreme Court keeps rolling in his favor. I don't know what winning looks like to you, but that's winning to me. I agree with you, Silver Wolf. He is winning. He said if you vote for me, you're going to get tired of winning. The only thing I disagree with, and by the way, I'll go to the next caller. Tap the screen, get me on up to about 60,000. I get 65. You can get me up to 65,000. We're pretty close. Tap the screen, get the likes up. I do agree with that the Supreme Court is ruling in his favor, but they're only doing what you would expect the Supreme Court to do that's that lopsided in one direction. I mean, if there was a 6-5 liberal majority, pregnancy terminations in the third month would be legal. If you're transgender, you could play on your team of choice. I mean, there would probably be some gun bans and restrictions all over the place. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, just like the right is now going as far as trying to force religion in schools. They're slowly but surely banning pornography. I mean, we're starting to have a very far right-leaning country. He's only been in office for about 6 months. So he's only been in office 1/8 of his term, and our country has shifted significantly to the right. So imagine multiplying that by 8. Because he's only been in office 1/8 of his term. So imagine multiplying that by 8. Most of that Project 2025 stuff, I know Trump said he didn't read it, he didn't know nothing about it. Most of that stuff by 2028, certainly if he wins the midterms, most of that stuff's going to be happening in the United States. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you get a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court, you got a right-leaning Congress, a right-leaning Senate. You're going to get a very far right-leaning America. And the same would happen if all of that shit leaned left. So just imagine what a far right country is, and that's probably what you can expect. My suspicion is, and this is where the MAGA side don't favor me, but my suspicion is there will be limits to free speech. Females are probably going to see some significant limitations. I don't know what's coming down the pipe for minorities, but I won't expect it to be positive. I don't expect states' rights to go very well either. I believe the states will have the right to do whatever they want as long as they do conservative, as long as they lean conservative. Like Trump is talking about, Trump is bringing back the fitness test in schools. Now, many on the right are celebrating this. I thought he was getting rid of the Board of Education or whatever. He's taking all this, leaving the schools back to the states. But they can do whatever they want, but when I want them to do something that leans to the right or leans my way, I'm going to intervene. So yeah, we're going to go back to states' rights as long as the states lean conservative. If you're a left-wing state and you believe in woke and DEI, no, we're going to interfere with that. It's not going to be states' rights. It's going to be conservative or no rights at all. That's the way I'm seeing it. Trump has done more in 6 months than Biden could have ever done in 4 years, period. Chosen 2012. Thank you for your support. I'll agree and disagree. In some areas, in the area of defending and securing the border, obviously Trump has done more in 6 months than Biden was going to do in his whole term. And I said that before. I'll go to the next caller next, but I said that before Trump became president. You know, when we were comparing him running against the candidate known as Joe Biden and then Kamala Harris, I said that Trump would be better at securing the border than any liberal. And the reason I gave is I said because I believe Trump will break the law to secure the border. Damn, did that not age very well? I said that then, several months ago, you know, a year or two ago, I said Trump will be better at securing the border than anybody else because I believe he will break the law to do so. He is that gung-ho about securing the border. All my lives are up on YouTube. I have to pull it up, but I said that many times, and that certainly has aged well. So in that area, he's done more than Biden could have done in 4 years and 6 months. I'll agree with that. But when it comes to the tariffs, he's done more destruction in 6 months than Biden could have done. When it comes to the lives lost in the Ukraine because we stopped helping them for that period of time where we weren't giving them intelligence or any weapons, he's lost more lives in the Ukraine. Trump is responsible for more lives being lost than anything Biden could have done in 4 years. Same thing with us no longer funding USAID, up to and including burning high energy biscuits that could have fed, I believe they said, up to 1 million meals and shit like that. Hundreds of tons worth of high energy biscuits they incinerated. So there is no denying that us cutting off all aid to USAID has resulted in a lot of people dying. So I would also probably attribute more deaths to Trump than Biden could have accomplished in 4 years. So there's good and bad to it. There's a lot of people who have died because of what Trump is doing, in addition to securing the border and things like that. So it ain't all good. Anyway, continuing on with the program, though, didn't they just have a vote on impeachment and 150-something Democrats voted no? I believe something like that did happen. It's just not going to help the Democratic Party. Right now, the impeachment's going nowhere, first of all. Trump is in control of the House and Senate, so why would you vote on that? I mean, it's going to allow Trump to say it's a witch hunt. It's going to allow Trump to say, see, they're on some more bullshit because I was able to beat another impeachment. I mean, he's going to beat the impeachment before it even comes down the pipe. Even if Ghislaine Maxwell named children that Trump abused, he still would likely survive any kind of impeachment. I still believe there's not enough people on the right that would go after him enough. That's my opinion. I think they would probably be more likely to say the people accusing him made it up than they would believe that it actually was true. Let me go back to the box. He is ignoring the Constitution and the judges. And I think people were okay with that. Continuing on with the program, there's Sherbert. Good evening. Welcome to the show. No fluffing. That's what I'm saying to all my callers. Good evening. By the way, thank you, JPT Farms. Yeah! Appreciate that mustache. Sherbert, good evening.
How's it going, Tim?
I don't know right now, man. I'm in the trenches. People are not liking me today.
You started off real strong, but I see what's happening here. It's that you've normalized the double standards.
Explain.
And so when Mike was saying how we would never accept Michelle Obama doing those, being in any of those compromising photos, the double standard is that they can absolutely get away with it. And you and me both know that there's no way in hell any red states would ever be okay with that. It'd be like how they demonize the trans community, and we vote for we, not for they, or whatever the fuck it was. So that's where the fluff is. You've normalized it, and so you're unwittingly just saying it because, no, they wouldn't do that. No, they would never be okay with it.
I don't know if I quite understand what you're saying. I mean, didn't Bill Clinton have a lot of accusations and stuff on his resume when he ran as from Arkansas?
Yeah, that's fine.
And they put him in there, and he won some southern states.
But Bill Clinton was the blue dog Democrat. I don't know. It's a very different time, Tim. Trump has changed the whole moral perspective, Overton window of what is okay to get away with. But people are so very clear with their being hypocrites. They would not be okay with it the other side. They're the demons. They're doing something so wrong. How could they? The Democratic censorship when Trump is censoring himself and it's a double standard, and that's, I think, the most frustrating part.
I don't disagree with that. The double standard, I don't disagree with the double standard. I didn't try to normalize it if it sounds like that. I tried to admit it's taking place, but there is a huge double standard.
You might be just being a good host here and pushing back, but at the same time, that's why everyone was calling you out, saying you're close to fluffing, because you had just, subconsciously said, no, they wouldn't be that double standard. No.
No, well, I admitted that certain celebrities can get away with what others may not be able to. And I mean, Trump was a well-known, highly liked celebrity when he came down the escalator in 2016. In my opinion, Trump would probably have done a lot better historically and probably would have won the 2020 election as well if he had just ran based on his celebrity status, did some good things for America, and not got involved in all the fighting and shit. Same thing I say applies to Elon Musk, even though he could never run for president, is that he would have probably had a lot more support had he not gotten involved with the Trump side of the aisle. Once he got involved with all that name calling and all the insults and all the insensitivity stuff he's done, he's probably tarnished his image forever.
Yes, but the narcissism within Trump will never not let him be in front of the camera. Even if it is making him look worse, he'd rather have the attention. It's pretty clear at this point that's what's happening.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. You know, they say it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. I mean, Trump is almost 80 years old, and what he is doing has worked for him all his life. Narcissism has gotten him very far in life. He's been able to, he's had a fixer like Michael Cohen, and now he has a fixer like the Supreme Court. He's been able to get away with everything. So can you blame him for not being, willing to change?
I guess not, but bullies only learn after they have somebody stand up to them. I just feel like Trump's never been punched in the face as an adult. He says Vietnam was dodging STDs. Like, that man doesn't know what struggle is.
Well, he's 80 years old and a 2-time president. He never will at this point.
The Secret Service is going to take down anybody else.
Yeah, he never will. I mean, look, like I said, I can understand where you're coming from, but that shit's been working. That shit has been working for him his whole life and working well. Why would he change?
Yes, but it really hurts my soul too that people are so willing to turn themselves into pretzels because of his personality. Somehow this has worked where everyone in his administration goes to jail for doing illegal shit, and then it's just like, no, he's so good. He loves America, even though his top people get arrested for doing shit in his name.
Now that I do not understand it. To me, it's like watching someone take a hit of fentanyl or something like that. How many people need to overdose before you realize you shouldn't try this shit? I mean, you've seen Mike Lindell go down, you've seen Rudolph Giuliani go down, you've seen Elon Musk struggling. Like, how many people you need to see take a hit of Trump and pass out from the overdose before you realize this is a bad drug? I don't understand why they keep lining up to do that. Because there are, he's now tweeting out unflattering photos of J.D. Vance. Like, shit, I mean, what do you think's going to happen in your future?
It's a gamble, Tim, and some people are addicted to that.
Who the fuck is winning? Who is winning it? Who is winning the gamble so far? They all lose.
Saying Trump's winning.
Well,
they're just hoping to ride those coattails and everything on black and let's go. And it's just a lot of.
They not betting on black, Sherbert. They not betting on black. They ain't betting on black. I can tell you that.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah. Yeah, they roulette wheel. They don't already pass a law. You cannot put black numbers on a roulette wheel from this day forward.
Oh my God.
That's a woke and DEI roulette wheel.
Tim, how do you feel about the censorship? Because I kept hearing for months and months about Democratic censorship and the Twitter files and how dare we. And then we take down Black History Month now. We're taking things out of the Smithsonian.
I think is what I always say. Everybody is for freedom of speech and zero censorship until you say something that they would rather you not speak or they want you censored. Everybody is for freedom of speech until you say some shit they don't want to hear. And then they're ready to ban it. That's the way I see it.
But taking out all of the Black history, taking out all of the things off the whitehouse.gov, with a little bit of time here, what are you seeing? Is this actually wrong, or is anybody actually give a fuck about it?
It's terrible.
I think it's terrible.
It's terribly wrong. And I mean, and I don't think it's going to work very well because you got the internet for it. It's a different time. You could hide history and things like that back in the early 1900s and shit like that. But with the internet, most of the free world that has internet access know a lot about U.S. history. So taking history out in America is not going to stop those stories from eventually coming back in the future. Because people outside of this country know it's in our movies. Everything about slavery and in the civil rights era and in the women's suffrage movies. There's movies and all kinds of shit about this stuff. So eventually that stuff's going to, you can take it out during the Trump reign, but in the future that stuff's going to come back because people know about it. You can't, it's too late to do that.
Okay, but it's still wrong, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely wrong.
All of these people that still support Trump after months and months of this, of him being very blatant in the things that he is personally censoring, how can anyone ever say that the Democrats are the ones that are against free speech and are the ones that for censorship when they're literally trying to change history?
Because the Democrats are censoring things that they want to be known and said, and the liberals and the conservatives are censoring things that they would rather be censored. So as far as they're concerned, only the Democrats are censoring shit that actually needs to be told. What Trump is doing makes sense. They're okay with that.
But what do the Democrats censor?
Well, I mean, they don't like the pronoun. They want people to be, they want people to be called whatever they want. I mean, they got their own. Go ahead.
Democrats didn't censor that. What have the Democrats ever censored? Actually put a ban on people saying, other than maybe the N-word?
Taking down the Confederate flag in places. I mean, that's been kind of censored.
We took down memorials.
It's censorship to them.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Yeah, well, it was also against traitors to the country.
But you're doing exactly what I said they're doing. You're doing exactly what I said they're doing, which is you're okay with censorship when you think it's justified. They're the same way.
For literal traitors against the country, that feels like a step above what I'm talking about here.
They believe that Obama was a traitor against the country.
This is very different when they actually went to war against it. When and if there is a civil war now, we'll see where the history goes then. Yeah. And I won't be able to complain then, but
I really hope there is no civil war. I know you kind of predicted that civil unrest might happen. I hope that does not happen. I really do.
Yeah, no, I don't want to go to war, but if they keep just blatantly saying that, you're lying eyes and detaining people for no good reason, and they start deporting people to El Salvador just because they're the new Martin Luther King, essentially. No, I'm not saying that's happened yet, but it's very clear it can go that way. And anyone who says otherwise is lying. And
that's right. And by the way, what you're talking about, JPT Farms, appreciate that, thank you. And by the way, what you're talking about, because we've heard Trump talking about he wants to send homegrown criminals to El Salvador and shit like that. That president down there, Bukele, they just changed the law. I read that today where they could... Huh?
I haven't heard.
Yeah, they've changed the law down there in El Salvador because they have 6-year terms. They changed their constitution so that you can run indefinitely now. So
fuck.
Yeah, so that guy's a dictator. He won and he can run forever now. They made some other changes to their El Salvadorian constitution as well, and he won by a lot. So you can best believe there's a good chance that the lower houses, he's in control of them already down there as well. So Bukele is well on his way to being a dictator.
Son of a bitch. I hadn't heard that. That's slightly terrifying when we sent people there.
Yeah, you're never going to get them back. The only way you can... Here's what I don't understand, and I think the government of Venezuela did do this. They ended up trading a lot of their, they traded some El Salvadorians that they had in custody for hundreds of their Venezuelan citizens that we sent to El Salvador back. So I don't understand why Latin America has not stepped up and threatened to do something about what El Salvador is literally complacent in the way we're treating Hispanics. Like, why the hell are you working with the U.S. in this shit? All these people don't belong here. So the Latin community south of the border, they all need to gang up and go have a talk with El Salvador. Like, you can't be working with this shit. These are not hardened criminals that you've taken from this country. These are just people they don't like. So
but they also made $6 million from that transaction. At least in the one. As soon as they get that rolling again, they're going to be rolling.
Bro, then they need to turn the cartel loose or something on them, whatever the case may be. You just can't be cooperating with this shit. You know what they doing up there. They sending you people. These people ain't all criminals. Why the hell you got them in jail indefinitely? They're holding people with no release date that have no violent felony on their record. Just because he got tattoos, he got to spend the rest of his fucking life in prison? Really?
Well, that's where the morality comes into play, and I don't feel like most MAGA has a lot of morals towards anything that's not exactly their little neighborhood.
Yeah, but once they down in El Salvador, it ain't MAGA. It's between El Salvador and the Hispanic community. They need to go down there and demand
that. Is okay with sending our people from in this country to another place for the rest of their lives. They're 100% okay with that, and I am not.
Yeah, but they can't take on the United States. They can take on El Salvador. Either you let these people go or you're going to have a hit put out. I mean, I'm just saying, cartel, whatever it takes. Bukele is complacent in it. He's taking people that Trump and the United States don't like, that haven't committed any serious crimes, and incarcerating them indefinitely. They can do something about Bukele. They can't do a lot about the U.S., but they can do something about Bukele.
But Bukele will get help from Trump because Trump loves dictators. He's already made the deal with him once. You think he won't help him? There's no fucking way we don't help them.
Well, until that help is actually on the ground, you know, a small team of mercenaries, you know, this shit can happen. Mistakes can happen. He left some dynamite in this car, goddammit. I don't know why it blew up. I got to move it on, Sherbert, but I'm just saying, they shouldn't let that go. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. You too. All right, moving on with the program. In the comments, Chosen 2012 says, when do we stop giving money away? At what point? At some point, you have to take care of home or go broke concerning USAID. Show me some solid, concrete evidence that we're taking care of home and we can have that conversation. All I've seen is we stopped sending money to USAID. I haven't seen shit that leads me to believe we are indicating we're going to take care of home. Nothing. Show me some kind of evidence that we're taking care of home. Healthcare, tuition forgiveness, helping out the homeless. Show me any goddamn thing. And then we can have that conversation. But to me, all I've heard is an excuse not to send money overseas that we have no intention to fulfill. Just tell them if you stop sending them money to USA, you'll take care of them. You don't really have any intention of taking care of their ass. But if you tell them, they'll be okay with you sending money to stop. They'll be okay with you cutting off the money to USAID. That's what I've seen. Show me some actual evidence where the Trump administration is legitimately talking about taking care of home. I'm hearing cuts here, cuts there, cuts to SNAP, cuts to Medicaid. I'm not hearing it. Cuts, veterans are not happy. I'm not hearing any of this. We're going to take care of Americans. So as far as I'm concerned, that is a ruse just to get you to agree to that shit, when there really is no meat behind the actual meal. Real quick in the comments, I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you folks that are tapping the screen. By the way, if you watching on YouTube, I appreciate you guys tuning in as well. Feel free to smash that like button. We are always MAGA friendly. We don't block, ban, or censor anybody. We go left of Bernie Sanders till I'm having dinner with Q. So all opinions get to come through. You don't have to agree with the host or anybody else on this damn program. We're all about free speech. So I do read comments that are from all sides of the aisle. Many are complimentary. Many are critical of both yours truly and guests that are on. So understand that if you like free speech without the censorship, you are in the right place. Show your boy some love. Follow the program if you're watching on TikTok or Clapper, which we're on live, both of those. And if you're watching on YouTube, give your boy a sub. We're generally here on most weekdays, so I appreciate you guys that are tuning in. Looking in the comments real quick, Confederates want to relive in L. What do you mean? They want. I know the Confederates kind of want to relive that lifestyle. I mean, there's a whole meaning called the South will rise again. There's no way to spin the South will rise again without it meaning something that sounds sinister. So there are a lot of conservatives. I mean, listen, I get it. I totally get it that when you look at the southern states, they're among the poorest states in the Union. And during the era when the Confederates were in existence, they were some of the wealthiest states in the Union because they had all that free labor. I totally understand wanting to go back to a time when you were on top. I don't like doing it from a standpoint of inhumanity, but I understand why they're saying it. So it is what it is. If you want the Democrats to win, then the Democrats better start working for the people. Depends on the people you're talking about. I think both sides can point to areas where they're not working for the people. I don't think Trump is working for all people. Everybody's not happy with him. And if you look at the southern states, we are less racist towards each other. Really? I don't know if I would agree with that. I would have to have you give some examples of why you would say that, because your history is terrible. The history of the Southern states is dismal. Well, I expect people to sell the Bible for money, but they're not Christians. They're money changers. Who still says the South will rise again? I think I heard that in a movie about Lincoln, and that's about it. No. If you go to any place that sells Confederate apparel, and I mean, as an over-the-road driver, I used to see the Confederate flag being sold in lots of locations. I was an expediter for a number of years, and you get down to the South and places like that. There are stores and shops. That phrase is in there. There are plenty of, it ain't going all the way back to some old movie you're talking about. There are people that are saying that right now to this day. My guess is if you Google the South will rise again and click on images, you'll see all kinds of shit that is not very old, and some of it is probably for sale as we speak. And I'm saying that as somebody who's never, I'm just speculating that if you go to Google and you type the South will rise again and you click on images or all, you're gonna probably find shit for sale that says that. So I don't buy the notion that it's coming from something, some phrase from yesteryear. It's happening still now. Let me go back to the box. Tap the screen, put us on around 80, 70,000 at least. Y'all can make that happen. Lewis, good evening. Nate. Nate, good evening. Welcome to the program. Nate, no fluffing, right?
What's up?
Not much at all. Good to have you on.
Good, but when your man said L, he meant lost. Democrats want to lose again. L means loss.
Okay.
That's just slang.
Okay. All right. Taking an L. Taking an L.
Yeah. So a couple of things. Like when you were talking about how like Trump, like what should he be impeached for? Like didn't he say Qatar was like terrorist group? Like they're a terrorist country? Like last time he was president, but now he's taking blame for them? That's one.
Well, he could say that he's made deals with Qatar or he's got new information. He could make something up to suggest that he's changed his stance from 2017 till now.
Yeah, he's going to lie to get his benefit. That's
I mean, I don't deny it may be a lie, but I'm saying it could give him plausible deniability. I think that's kind of weak to impeach him on, though.
Well, I take it as a bribe. You're going to give me something, what you want for it. I ain't going to tell you. But that seems like a bribe.
Okay.
But, so I was talking to my mans at work. They wanted me to say a couple of things, right?
Okay.
So, you know how he's getting rid of everybody? But he brings El Chapo's family over here with thousands of dollars in their briefcases.
Not to mention the white South Afrikaners. Yeah, I mean, Trump is transactional, and my guess is Elon Musk did something for those white South Afrikaners to come here as well, because there hasn't been any other ones. You're going to tell me out of that whole country, only 59 people were getting fucked with? So I do agree with you that if Al Sharpton put money in Trump's pocket, Al Sharpton would start becoming a good dude. I mean, Trump is one of the things we said when Trump got elected is he got his own money. He's not taking a salary. That's why we like him, because he can't be bought. And then he got in office and showed he can really be fucking bought. He really can be bought. So
yeah, especially when he says he didn't want to take a paycheck. But you know, when every time he goes to his golf courses and he goes to his hotels, he gets PW.
Whoa, big dog. Thank you.
So he'll end up getting this. So you know, when you're working for the government, the rates go up. So he's making a ton of money every time he goes to his hotels, because he got rent all these floors out. And they say they 500. Well, we're gonna max them out. So if you work say you work for, I don't know, City Hall, construction workers, everybody who works out in the building that is not from the building, that's not has a contract with them, they get PW rate. So say my bill is usually $23, $25 an hour, you'll get $95 an hour.
Damn.
So also, last time when he was president, his wife found out that he was cheating. That's why she didn't want to leave New York. She was working on that.
He was cheating at that age?
That was the whole thing. Like grabbing him by the smash the reporter in his hotel while she was upstairs while she was pregnant.
Wow.
They all came out when he was running the first time he was running.
Wow.
Then she stood in New York saying, "No, I want my kid to keep going to school."
I do remember her saying she didn't want to go to DC right away, but I didn't know it was because I didn't hear that
She was working on
part.
the prenup because it was costing us $500,000 every day she was hit, every month. No, every week she was hit. It was costing us $500,000. That it cost so much that they had to come out the building and they had to put these little trucks outside to do all this surveillance and everything from downstairs because they were running up the tab. He gets all that money because it's to his building.
That is fucking crazy. And real quick before we continue on, in the comments, Metal Dream says, "Holy shit, Tim, where's the concrete evidence that he's been bought?" And somebody says, "Why does Trump need money?" Well, you asked me why does a guy need money and he's selling Bibles and NFT cards with lasers coming out. No, he don't need money, but he clearly fucking wants it. So when you say where's the evidence, when you say where's the evidence, yeah, hold on a second. But when you say where's the evidence that where's the concrete evidence that he's been bought? To me, nothing describes him being bought more than the way he talked about e-vehicles before Elon made donations to him versus him actually trying to promote and sell them after Elon Musk made that donation. To me, that's about a clear-cut example of him being bought because he clearly did not like e-vehicles before Elon Musk came along. And then once Elon Musk went away, he stopped promoting e-vehicles. So there's no clear-cut evidence to that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Plus, he said he was going to buy one when he knows for the rest of his life he can never drive a car again. Once you're president, you automatically cannot drive a car ever again. You got Secret Service to do that. They won't let him drive.
That's a good point.
So the other thing is, I've never seen so many lawyers lose their licenses for somebody. Giuliani, the other chick who was like, wait to the Kraken and all this stupid stuff. You know how many lawyers done lost their license?
I can think. It's a bunch of them. The Sidney Powell was his lawyer that lost one. I mean, all of them fake electors down in Georgia and Wisconsin. Yeah, it's a lot of them that lost their license because of Trump. Probably a couple dozen of them. It's a lot of them that have paid the price for that.
And then two more things real quick. So you remember you probably don't, but last time I told you that they had illegal migrants working in his hotels.
You did mention that, yeah.
Okay, so if your man Decal or whatever, I know he'd be coming up with receipts. Your man. So just if he's on here, just tell him to look up CNN 19 undocumented workers that work for Trump's golf course. They have pictures with them. There's a whole interview of 19 of them. They got pictures of them working. They got the cards and everything. It's on CNN or YouTube or whatever. Because I looked it up this morning with my man.
Well, I can tell you right off the bat, my ideas ain't gonna take any credibility, anything coming from CNN.
I'm not talking to him because MAGA is like a football team. Like that's my team, winning or losing, it doesn't matter. That's how they take it. So
yeah, you can't.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, CNN could put up a picture of their own child and they would say they're lying because it's CNN. I mean, they don't trust anything coming from CNN.
That's what I'm saying. So speaking to that MAGA point, right? That guy Mehdi, you know that guy, right? He was on that Jubilee show.
Wait, who again? Who you said?
I think his name is Mehdi. He's like a reporter or whatever. He does a lot of like reporting. He's like he's British, but he's Indian descent.
Not offhand.
I forgot his last name, but he's a known guy. So he was on Jubilee. It was him. The whole premise is it's always one person gets 20. So it was him versus 20 MAGA. They would tell him straight out, yo, get out my country. Like they sit down and he'll be like, yo, so where's Trump? This is why I think Trump is doing wrong or whatever. And then you could just see like most of them were just straight up racist. They were just running at it. Like, like you from Britain, like get the hell out of my country. You're an immigrant. If you ever have time, like it's probably like an hour or whatever. If you got time to watch it or highlights, you could go on YouTube and just do the highlights. You'll see that MAGA stuff is like crazy.
Well, I mean, if it is one thing I will agree with you on, MAGA is quick to tell you to leave the country. I mean, I've been told by MAGA to get the fuck out. I don't care if you say, I don't like the weather that we're having today. Well, if you don't like the weather, move. I mean, MAGA will tell you to leave the country in a minute. I mean, so it doesn't surprise me that somebody was being told to get the fuck out. I help you pack. I mean, MAGA is always telling people to lead the country.
Oh, and the Supreme Court, most of them are rigged, bought out. Like, what's one of the guys that he sold his mother's house to some rich guy and was letting her live there for free. Like, he was working on their cases.
I haven't heard that one.
Which one is the black Supreme Judge with the black?
Clarence Thomas.
Look him up. That he actually was.
Oh yeah, him and Alito have definitely been bought and paid for. Yeah, they love guilt. Yeah, them two have really been bought and paid for. There's no denying that.
To just mention it on their taxes and all that other stuff. And the other one, his wife had the flag up.
Yeah. And he claimed he didn't know about it.
Of course not. You go home every day, it's just upside down. You park right underneath it. Yeah, right. Like listen, I smell bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it ain't normal that if a husband and wife are living in the same house, the wife is up there outside flipping the flag upside down. That's usually something the husband to do to begin with. So
she threw him out there quick, like, yo, go do that.
Yeah, there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell you coming back to the crib and you don't know the whole fucking flag been turned over. The wife would have told you probably because the neighbors may say something about it. So yeah,
She was at Jan 6.
Yeah.
You tell me she ain't come home and be like, yo, it was crazy right now. Like I was running and we were doing this. Like you're gonna hear about it. Like she didn't mention nothing. It was just like just went shopping.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Some things are, some lies can be believable. Some of them are just unbelievable, and that's so. I mean, because they were in contact. I think Clarence Thomas' wife was even in contact with the Trump campaign during the whole election was stolen thing. I mean, they definitely have been working with Trump behind the scenes. Clarence Thomas and Alito, particularly Clarence Thomas. Oddly enough, he happens to be an African American, but I don't think you're not going to get many no's to anything Trump is trying to do from Clarence Thomas at all. I mean, he's going probably 95% of the time he's going to vote in Trump's favor. Maybe even more than 95% of the time. Clarence Thomas ain't gonna get in the way of nothing.
And I don't know why back is all this gay stuff and everything. Like they hate gays and all that. When the vice president wears eyeliner, like you ain't saying nothing to him. He's wearing eyeliner quick, like.
Well, I'm going to say I'm not going to.
See it right now in your picture behind you, I can see it.
I'm not going to totally agree that MAGA hates gays, but I will tell you this: I don't think they love J.D. Vance. So you're saying I don't know why they hate gays when they got a vice president that has island. I think Trump could make J.D. Vance go away overnight. I don't think they really care much for J.D. Vance beyond Trump supporting him. If Trump stops supporting J.D. Vance, MAGA is going to stop supporting too.
Yeah, he switched up quick too when he got bitch smacked by Trump.
Yeah.
At first he was hating him, dog. He's not good for us. He's not this, and then all of a sudden he's like, yeah, he used to wear a coat in the office when he comes see the president. Blah blah. Like get off his dick. Like he was on that shit real tight.
Well, I understand why they riding on Trump's dick though. I mean, there's a lot of money and power to be made. As long as you're riding Trump's coattails, he does look out for people that looks out for him. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made, riding next to Trump. He is incredibly powerful. So while we do see a lot of folks that support Trump go down, lose their law license and lose a fortune, like Giuliani and Mike Lindell, a lot of people are making a killing riding with Trump.
Yeah, but it's just like they saying, like Scarface, all I got is my balls and my word. Like they lost all that.
Yeah.
Because once Trump is gone, you and his bitch. Like, why am I going to deal with you for?
I don't think they care about that. I got to move on, but I'll tell you like Ted Cruz, for instance. He bowed down, kissed the ring. Ted Cruz has probably made a fortune. Once Trump is gone, if he gets voted out, so be it. He got generational wealth. I mean, it's as simple as that. Marco Rubio probably won't want to hang around any Cuban parties. So, I mean, it is what it is, but Marco Rubio's probably going to make a fortune off of it too. I mean, so yeah.
Somebody stepped to him in the airplane.
To Rubio?
Yeah, I think so. It was one of them. She saw him on the airplane. She's like, yo, why you on his dick? And she was bum rushing him and putting him on blast.
I'm surprised they could get to him. I'm surprised those folks don't have all sorts of security around him at this point.
He was on a regular plane.
Damn. That could have been.
Trump must have kicked him off his plane.
We could be talking about the late Marco Rubio. Surprise! I got to move it on, but that's bold for him to be out there like that. Him and people like what is the South Dakota governor, the one that's over all this shit, going to the prison in El Salvador? The cute one. What is her name? The fuck is that girl? The lady. She's the governor. The governor of South Dakota.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she needs to have all kinds of security around her for the rest of her life. She cannot be without security for the rest of her life. Because the whole Hispanic community would love to see her nice and toasty. But I gotta move it on, man. Thanks for coming through. Thank you, Nick. All right, moving on with the program. Yeah, some of them folks, that's what Michael Bolton, he was the one that served as Trump's, intelligence or whatever it was back in the first term. And you heard Iran talking about going after the mustache man. And then Trump gets in there and removes his security when there's an open threat from a foreign nation on him. He's another one that probably needs security for the rest of his life. What is the girl's name I'm thinking of? Somebody let me know. The cute South Dakota governor, why can I not think of her name? Christine Noem. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. She needs security for the rest of her life. Tom Homan, he needs security for the rest of his fucking life. Any of those folks that are involved with ICE, they should be wearing masks too, to be honest with you. Any of them folks, they need to have security for the rest of their lives. It is what it is. I mean, if you get another Biden type in there that lets people across the border, lets them in with asylum and all that shit, and you don't quite know who they are, it probably would be a few assassins in there. So they need to have security for the rest of their life, because there's a lot of people throughout the Hispanic community. And I'm not just talking about in the United States. I'm talking about Hispanics all the way on down to the tip of Brazil. And I don't think Brazilians are Hispanic. I don't think they are. Portuguese? Anyway, whatever the case may be, folks, all the way down to the tip of Brazil. He got enemies all throughout that. So all of them folks I just named, they got a ton of enemies throughout that shit. So they need significant security for the rest of their lives. And Trump, setting the precedent of removing the security for Hunter Biden, Michael Bolton, and I just mentioned, and a few others, he's kind of opened up the door for people to say, fuck Kristi Noem when they get in there. Well, you got to pay for your own security just like Hunter Biden had to. He's opened the door for that. Understand that. Looking in the comments, Dems don't just lose. They lost big time. I don't see that, Gear Jammer. I mean, how much did Trump lose to Hillary Clinton by? I don't think Trump beat Biden by much more than Biden beat Trump in 2020. Not lose to Hillary Clinton, lost to Biden rather. He beat Hillary Clinton. I don't think Trump beat Kamala Harris in November by much more than he lost to Biden in 2020. And you didn't call his loss to Biden a landslide. But all of a sudden he does the same thing to Kamala Harris and it's suddenly a landslide. I mean, Biden won all of those swing states too. You know, Trump won all 7 swing states. I believe Biden won them all too. When Biden beat Trump in 2020, I think he won all that shit too. You know, if you want to call a landslide, you got to call it right. Can't only be a landslide when it's Trump. Real quick in the comments before we move on, tap the screen. Give me on up to about 85,000. We can certainly make that happen. They all have the same thing in common, being thrown under the bus comes to the risk. Yeah, if you affiliate with Trump, that is 100% true. That if it starts looking like something is looking bad against Trump, somebody is going to get thrown under the bus. Like, for instance, when his attorney general was saying the Epstein files was on her desk and all of that, she was getting close to being thrown under the bus. When Tulsi Gabbard said the Iranians are not developing a nuclear weapon, he stepped in and said she don't know what the hell she's talking about. And we went and bombed Iran anyway. So they need to realize that. You give some bad information to the king, it may be off with your head. And that could be anybody. It ain't got to be a liberal, anybody that gives him information he don't like. Your job's at risk and who knows what else. What happened to the 81 million what happened to the 81 million votes Biden won in 2020? I hear that question a lot. While I don't have an answer for it, I could obviously counter by pointing out all kinds of what happened to things that Trump said about the 2020 election. He said all kinds of things, Dominion voting machines, what happened to that? They were passing around USB drives like vials of crack. What happened to that? I mean, he said a whole lot of things too, which leads me to what I always say. The proper way to discuss the 2020 election would be there was things that didn't look right, and I think they should have maybe had a do-over or something. That would sound a lot more proper than jumping up and saying Trump won by a landslide. There's no evidence of that. There was no reason for him to say that. If you saw, look, I went to sleep, he was winning, I woke up, he's losing. That don't look right, something we need to, do an investigate, whatever. But to jump up and say the man won by a landslide is flat out false. Alter Ego. Shout out to you. Sending your boy a galaxy. Thank you, Alter Ego. I appreciate that. So that's the point I'm making. And by the way, Trump was saying that he had won by a landslide, I think within 24 hours of the election. No investigations or nothing. He had no reason whatsoever to say that shit. Because they were actually holding election coverage. I was watching it. George Stephanopoulos on ABC, Chris Christie was there. And I remember Chris Christie, who helped prepare Trump for the debate and was still on good terms with Trump at that time. He said, there's no way he should be saying that right now. Why is he on? He's on TV telling people he won the election by a landslide, and you can see below him, Pennsylvania had only counted like 30% of their votes. And he's already on TV saying he won by a landslide. And Chris Christie said there's no way he should be on TV saying this already. And then, of course, he came out and ended up losing the election. But Steve Bannon from the January 6 Hearings Committee was pretty clear. Steve Bannon spilled the beans. They were going to say they won no matter what. Steve Bannon had said it 5 days before that election. If Trump is losing, he just going to say he won. And he did that. And that's exactly what happened. So he had no reason to say he won by a landslide. Cost a lot of people their freedom and a ton of money. A lot of them January 6 people lost quite a bit dealing with that shit. Because they believed him. Real quick in the comments, Kamala starting to flag her lips again. Well, Kamala is indicating that she's done. She's not going to run for the gubernatorial race in 2026. Now, she didn't close the door on running for president, so we'll see. Tap the screen. Get me on up to 85,000. We'll go ahead and take the next caller at that. Gone was the one that got ripped off in an election. Oh, Gore. Yeah, Gore with the hanging chads. And Al Gore wrote his book and stated that I could have took it to the Supreme Court and we believe we had a decent case, but for the sake of preventing the nation from breaking up, we just dropped it. Trump could have took the same angle. He could have took the same angle. In fact, Trump doesn't, I still stand by my statement. Trump doesn't have any evidence for why he ever should have said he won. Here's what I don't understand. Tap the screen, get me up to 85,000. I'll take the next caller there. Here's what I don't understand. There's virtually not a single Republican governor, Republican member of Senate. We're not talking about the liberals. Fuck the liberals. We're talking about Republicans here. Not one Republican governor, not one Republican senator, and even almost all of the Republicans in Congress, maybe with the exception of Marjorie Taylor Greene or Bobart, or maybe Gates. Matt Gates might be one. But outside of that, all the Republican Congress, Senate, and governors all say Trump lost that election. All of them do. Even the people that are on his administration now, like Marco Rubio, all of them said he lost. But for some reason, all of them are wrong, and he's right. This is where the cult calls come from. That makes no sense at all. That many of these folks who would have won and it would have benefited them, some of them would have won an additional term. They certainly would have got a chance to see a continuing movement towards the right-wing agenda. Why would they say Trump lost if he didn't lose? What would they have to gain by saying the man lost? The whole Republican Party said the man lost. Why would they all make that shit up? Not to mention his whole administration. Attorney General Barr, fucking Mike Pence, the folks that served under him, Scaramucci, Omarosa, all of them said he lost. 99.9% of serving Republicans said that man lost. But they believe him, and all of them people are wrong. Even the people that got access to the ballots, even the people that count the ballots in the various states said he lost. This is what we're talking about. This is where the cult mentality starts to come in. Almost all of the people in power said he lost. All of the people at the head, all the judges were ruling against. Well, they're liberal judges. The amount of people that identify as Republican that are in power that says he lost is significantly higher than the amount of Republicans that said he won. Significantly higher. And in fact, most of the Republicans that claim Trump won are very much lower down on the totem pole. Much lower. They're not judges. They're not senators. They're not parts of Congress. They're not governors. They're lower people. Why would all them people make that shit up? That's where the explanation has to come through. Why would the vice president, who would have served a second term, lie and say he lost? What would Mike Pence gain by saying he lost an election if he won it? No sense at all does that make. None at all. Trump has to have something on all of them. The whole Republican Party? Look, at the end of the day, if it wasn't a politician that you heavily invested in, that you believe is doing a great job for America, if you're observing what happened in the United States in a foreign country, and it was a president saying he won an election, and all of his own cabinet members were saying he lost, all of the various governors throughout that country were saying he lost that was part of his own party, you would think the guy was crazy. The only reason why you're actually entertaining what Trump says is because you're heavily invested in Trump. And you're not looking at it through an unbiased lens. You're looking at it through a lens that is favorable to Trump. But if this was the president of any other foreign country, and you just read about all of that shit, all of his cabinet members are saying he lost, all of his senators and all, you would be like, there's no way this dude won. And then, of course, he's not providing any significant amount of evidence at all to make his case. There's no way you would believe that. There's a lot of things that Trump has said that has either been proven false or did not come true. They skip over all of that and say, well, this right here looked kind of interesting. All the stuff he said that didn't come true, they just skip over all of that stuff. Like the Dominion voting machines and all that. They just skip completely over that stuff. Trump said a whole lot of things about that election that are not true. Why do black people get off so much on felonies? They do? You believe that black people, the prison system is loaded with black people. I don't know about how they're getting off with felonies. I would love to see you provide some evidence of how black people are getting off with felonies. I don't know about that one. Trump would not rent to you. He would if I had enough money. Trump is transactional. I think he's transactional. You put enough money in Trump. Say, if Elon Musk was Michael Jordan, well, Elon has way more money than Jordan. There's nobody that has Elon's money. But if Michael Jordan put millions of dollars into Trump, Trump would be very fond of Michael Jordan. Trump can be bought. I'm just telling you that. I really believe that. I mean, he was a guy who had his own money, came down the escalator, said he's worth $15 billion. And all he's done since he's been in office is tried to make money. Bibles, shoes, watches, cologne. I mean, for a guy who don't need money, he sure is selling a lot of shit. He's doing it. It ain't one of his companies. He's doing it. These commercials and ads feature a picture of him. He's doing it. So I understand that he don't. And somebody mentioned cryptocurrency. I understand he don't need money, but he sure as hell wants it. He sure as hell wants it. So I don't buy into the notion he doesn't need money. Somebody says, Dan, why didn't Trump show them when he was in office the first time? That's a good point, too, in regards to the whole Epstein list. Well, why didn't Biden produce the list? Epstein was dead a year and a half before Trump's first term ended. Trump had some responsibility to show some of this shit, too. The idea that Trump is telling us no list exists in 2025, you would have known no list existed throughout Biden's term when all of the folks on the right was demanding a list. You would have known it then. You had a year and a half of this man. Epstein was dead a year and a half before Trump left office. He left in office in January of 2021. Epstein died August 10, 2019. So Trump had almost a year and a half to find out at least if a list existed. So Trump knew whether a list existed before Biden ever took office. So you had no problem letting all the podcasters and conservative commentators on the right demand that the Epstein stuff come out throughout the Biden administration. Then you get elected and suddenly you want to pretend like, well, there's nothing there. You were fine with them calling for this shit when Biden was in office, but now they call it, well, let me come out and tell them there's nothing there. Really? All right, let me go back to the box. Tap the screen. Did we get to 85? I can't see without my shade. So Lewis, appreciate you holding there, Lewis. That you were on that live earlier.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, Tim.
Oh my God!
I'm impressed. That's all I gotta say. I was impressed. Really? You got some respect. I give you some respect. I'll give you your props.
Thank you.
Because man, the way you. Now I'm gonna tell you something. I was a little disappointed with how you went after the little blue-headed boy. You know what I'm saying? But
I get it, and I started to live by listen. I do tend to follow them when they go low, you go high. I felt kind of bad attack, but I mean, I got 8 motherfuckers attacking me saying all kinds of awful shit. And then you see when the last guy came there, what was his name? Lou or whatever. I mean, the guy with the beard. The guy with the beard.
That guy had a lot of venom for you, and I want to know why. Because I think he's attacked you before.
I normally do not address him. Every single time he comes in, the first thing he starts out with is a ton of insults. That guy's been doing that for a few years. Anytime he sees a live that I'm on, his goal is to come in there and launch personal attacks. It is what it is. Like I said, he's MAGA. I get it. I'm okay with the thick skin. I got thick skin, but at some point, it's not even worth entertaining if all you're doing is insulting. And you saw that. That's all he does. Anytime he comes in, talking about Lou, Mike. I think his name is Lou. He's Hispanic, by the way.
I think you're right.
He's Hispanic. He got a beard and shit like that. He's Hispanic. He's been doing that for a few years. Anytime he sees me, it ain't got nothing to do with the actual topic. It's just insults. It's just straight insults.
I mean, he really was starting to piss me off. I mean, because it wasn't insults on the issues. It was personal.
Yeah, it's just insults. It's just insults. But I've gotten used to him. I know usually when he come in alive, I'll just calmly bow out. Like, listen, I get it. You don't think I'm shit. I don't think you shit. It ain't really worth having a debate. All we're gonna do is insult each other, and I bow out. So, but I had been on that live talking to everybody else, so I did give him about 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, and he just insulted the hell out of me. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, at that point, there's no need to have any.
Those people in those lives. Every time I've seen you in a. Don't get me wrong. The host tries to do his best. I got him. He's almost kind of even-handed. He does give you a chance to actually make your points too. I give him credit for that.
But here's the crazy thing, though. Even though you're correct, I was attacking a member of the LGBTQ community. Some of the shit I was saying was straight up homophobic. But what's funny is the right, because this person was a gay conservative, were attacking me for stuff that they normally be saying them damn selves.
Well, you know what they said to me? They said, "What do you mean by them voting against their own best interest?" That's what he did.
Yeah.
That's what. I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. I told him. I said, "You sound like." I told him. I said, "You sound like a Cuban immigrant about a year ago." I'm voting with Trump. I said, "You sound just like that. You sound like they did." A year later, they're like, "Holy shit, we fucked up." You as a gay, he's wearing blue hair. Like, you couldn't even get in a MAGA rally. You got a fucking mustache and a blue wig on. They wouldn't even let you in a MAGA gathering. And you talking about you're MAGA? Really? You sound like a Venezuelan immigrant a year ago.
I mean, even when I made the comment about them coming pulling the ladder up from people coming behind them, that's just a metaphor. Nobody's literally pulling up ladders. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they just didn't get the metaphor.
No, they didn't. The point was, you came into this country, and once you got in the country, you closed the door on the method you use to get into people in the future. That's what he was trying to say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what he was trying to say.
Absolutely. And that's really what it was. That's what it boiled down to, is that's what they do. It's always reminded me of, Tim, I played football all the way through high school and in college and everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you something. One time, one of our players, he actually picked up a fumble and ran the ball in the wrong direction.
Ooh. That goes
and
down with that.
scored a touchdown for the other team.
Damn.
And we lost the game. What do you think happened to him when he got back in that locker room?
Shit, my God, that's like the opposite of Al Bundy scoring 4 touchdowns. That's the opposite of it. I don't know. It was bad. I mean,
now don't get me wrong. It wasn't good for him. That's all I gotta say.
I can imagine. God damn, that's bad. Yeah.
I mean, he ran it all. He ran it about 40 yards. It wasn't like it was just.
Did you not notice nobody was chasing you, but your own teammates?
We all were chasing him, trying to catch him and stop him. He was pretty fast. I got to give him credit on that because we couldn't catch him.
Oh my God! Yeah, that would be bad.
The other team was chasing him too. I don't know why they were chasing. Another team was chasing him too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's something you will remember. I don't care if you do that at the age of 6. You will remember doing that for the rest of your life. You'll never forget doing
He was probably
that.
about 17, so he definitely remembers.
You will remember that for the rest of your life.
He was a pretty good football player, but it probably blew a lot of his scholarships because I don't think he went to college. But
that shouldn't end you. I mean, anybody can make a mistake. It shouldn't end the scholarship.
No, I think he. I don't know if he'd have got one anyway. I'm just saying
Okay.
though. But if he was close on the line for consideration, that probably killed it though. You know what I'm saying? So it's because our team was pretty. We were going that year. We actually did win our 3rd straight state championship. So we were a highly visible team. So I'm sure there was a lot of scouts there. You know.
Okay.
But I think that if we'd have won that game, we probably would have had an undefeated season. But I think after that game, we lost 2 more games because we were just blown away. You know, we were just blown up because of that. But anyway, Tim, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I give you credit on that live, and it probably didn't seem that way to you, but that live was
interesting.
Those people in that live don't know you. I mean, for some reason, they seem to think that you are not even-handed. I mean, you're the most.
I don't normally talk to people like that. I don't normally get in the trenches with MAGA.
That's what threw me off because I'm like, that's why I had to come in and say he's fooling the hell out y'all because this man is not this man.
But you told him I'm not a liberal.
I don't think you're liberal. I think you lean left, but I don't think you are a liberal at heart. That's what I don't mean that as no insult. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I definitely don't think you're a conservative. Tim, I'm gonna tell you something. What do black people have to conserve?
I think black people have a conservative mindset. I think they're very religious. I mean,
yeah, but ours is more on the religious side of it, more than the politics side of it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Conservatives, because you were trying to explain to these people about civil rights and what the conservative part had.
They don't buy into that. Yeah, they don't buy it. They still think that the Democrat Party is the party of the KKK and the Democrats. I mean, like,
you know what bothers them? What bothers them the most when they hear civil rights? They think it just pertains to people of color. Civil rights helps everybody. Civil rights doesn't mean black rights. Civil rights means everyone's rights. Believe it or not, more white women benefited from civil rights than black people did.
Same thing with affirmative action and even DEI, I believe. Yeah, you're right.
Hey, look, LGBTQ is benefiting off civil rights. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and now we can learn a thing or two.
Well, we'll find out if he starts rolling stuff back. You'll quickly find out who benefited more because they're gonna be the group that's hurting the most.
Now, just not to get off topic too far, but you do know that they moved Jocelyn to a minimum security.
We talked about it earlier that Dencal brought that up and made a good point that it shows that regardless of how you feel about Trump, he is already beginning to aid a pedophile. I mean, he's aiding and comforting a pedophile. Ghislaine Maxwell is a convicted pedophile.
Absolutely.
And you're actually improving her living conditions by moving her to Texas. So
absolutely.
I don't.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm kind of disappointed that she is the only one in that whole scheme with Epstein. He wasn't doing that by himself either.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. No way he was doing that by himself. I don't buy the whole notion I don't buy the notion that you got to check the flight list or this, what was on his island. I say this all the time. That dude had infinite wealth. If he was laying in bed in Hollywood or laying in bed in a penthouse in Manhattan and he got horny, there's no way in hell he had to go to the airport and fly to that fucking island. He done some of that stuff on the mainland as well. He wasn't only doing that on the island. With Ghislaine Maxwell essentially acting like a pimp.
He owns 15 different luxury residents.
Yeah, so that whole island thing.
One resident.
Right, that whole island thing is insane. He was doing that stuff here too. I mean, you got an active pimp on hand.
Absolutely. Now, check this out. This is the funny thing about it. Everybody keeps thinking that when they say the list, they think they're talking about the flight list. No, they're not. They're talking about, like, remember what's her name? Heidi Fleiss?
Yeah.
Remember how she got hemmed up because they got hold to her list of all the people that she was treating?
Right.
That's the list they're talking. Every pimp has a client list. That's the list they're talking about. Hey, what does he like? What's his preference? What kind of girls do he like?
That's a good point.
That kind of stuff.
That's a good point.
So that's the list they're talking about, is the list that tells what their preferences is. Now, Bill Clinton might have visited the island. Maybe he doesn't have a list. Maybe Trump doesn't have a list. We don't know, but they still have a preference. What kind of drinks do they like? What kind of
how to keep the client happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So and the thing, this is the funny thing about it. Now, Epstein stole that one girl we can confirm from Mar-a-Lago, right?
It's crazy that we can confirm this, that Trump would actually add some shit like that to the fire. Because he's the only reason we can confirm it is him.
Tim, think about this. What makes you think she wasn't doing the same thing at Mar-a-Lago that she did when Epstein took her?
Shit, I think that's the first thing everybody thought, is that she was doing the same thing. That's why he took her.
Exactly.
I mean, like, she's a 16-year-old working at a spa. Both of y'all are millionaires. You don't need to take this one girl. You can find 16-year-olds any day. You took her because, as Liam Neeson said, she had a particular set of skills. That's why you took her. I mean, everybody know why. You could find a 16-year-old girl to do that anywhere. You want this one because this one is...
They weren't taking... Most of their clients came from most of their girls came from overseas.
No, I'm just simply saying he took one that probably had already been prepped and knew what to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why you taking this one, because she's skilled, she's trained. She ain't some 16-year-old that you grabbing at the high school. She's already been prepped.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, most men that go to those kind of places, they're not pedophiles, but they still have a preference of what they like.
Right.
She was the preference for a guy who likes underage girls. Simple as that. So, so my thing is that's harder to find than just a prostitute. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, hell yeah, because it's illegal. It's far more illegal. Shit, I mean, it's far more illegal.
I mean, so my thing is that, Tim, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even know if I want that list to come out before he gets out of office.
Why not?
Because I'm not gonna say before he gets out of office. I think Trump is out of office in 2026 when we have the midterms. I don't want that to be what hinders the midterms.
I tell you one thing, when it comes to witch hunts and bullshit reason to impeach him, ain't nothing more stronger than impeach an actual pedophile. Why would you not want that list to come out?
Well, because I think it's gonna also have a lot of, on the other side, people on it.
And what? So you sound just as bad as you're trying to protect Democratic pedophiles?
No, I ain't trying to.
That's what it sounds like.
Scumbags. You're right. I mean, you're right. No, I'm just saying. I just want us to beat him legitimately and with no excuses. You know what I'm saying? I guess I just don't want no excuses.
Well, don't ever repeat that. Where it may be some Democrat. I mean, they make it look like you actually are okay with protecting pedos if they're on your side.
I think if Democrats are on it, they need to hang too.
Right. Right. There we go. I gotta move it on, Lewis. Appreciate you tuning into that shit earlier. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, that was weird though. That was weird. You know.
Yeah.
I would catch that.
Oh, I didn't mean to hit you. Shit. Sorry about that. All right. Anyway, let me move on with the program. Sorry about that, Lewis. I didn't mean to click you that early. I ended up tapping the screen the wrong way. What up is down, what's down is up. So dumb. I don't know what that means other than maybe you disagree with somebody. Sometimes you just have to find the flat earthers. They took a picture of the moon with the moon in the background. What are you guys talking about? There's a whole lot of you guys talking about the moon landing. I do not know what that is referencing. Before we continue on, I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. If civil war, RNL will get other country to help. That is true. If we do have a civil conflict, other countries will participate. Gary, it depends on what the sides of the civil war is. I mean, is it going to be Democrats versus Republican? What is it going to be over? Black versus white? Is that going to happen? Is that going to be part of the mix? I don't know what the parameters of it will be, but China, Russia, Iran, probably Pakistan. I mean, there's a whole bunch of countries that have a vested interest in breaking America in half. So the losing side would probably get all kinds of assistance from countries that want America to fall apart, to keep it going. How we helped the Ukrainians. They're a much smaller, weaker country than Russia, but we have a vested interest in weakening Russia. So any country that goes to war with a country we don't like, we're going to help the smaller country out. We do it all the time. If all of a sudden we had a fractured population here, countries are going to step in and be offering weapons and shit like that. That's absolutely going to happen, certainly, to prolong it, because it would greatly weaken the United States. And of course, if you're on the weaker side of that shit, nothing makes you feel better than having somebody else send you weapons and give you some type of logistics and intel. So be it. Muffins, that is your assumption. Goofy, I didn't support her either, but let's talk about taxes when you're paying for billionaire tax cuts. Okay. King Alfred plays coming for black people. Who is King Alfred? Don't know who that is. Coming for black people though, huh? Well, we got President Trump, and if President Trump is going to save the black people, remember he's done more for blacks than anyone since Abraham Lincoln. How about that? Tap the screen, folks. Get the like. So we might be able to make it up to 100,000. I'll go ahead and take the next caller. Continuing on with the program. Captain America. Good evening, Captain. Hello, I'm gay. I'm a gay flat earther. MAGA. Yikes. Captain, good evening.
What's going on, my man?
Not much at all. I had a live earlier. I don't know if you were in there or not, but it got to be a mess.
I was in there, and you know what, dude? I'm proud of you.
Really? I'm surprised that you guys saying that.
I know you feel embarrassed or whatever, like you were saying earlier, but man, sometimes that's all you can do. Sometimes that's all you can do is push back and be rude, because that's how these people generally are. They don't understand anything else.
Wow. And I don't like, and I even started the show out by saying, look, I apologize for anybody that hurt me, act that way, but you are correct. The name calling and the insults was off the chain. I mean, so I did throw back jabs and jumped in the mud. I don't normally do that, but I certainly did it today. So.
Man, I can say, and I'm not just trying to toot your horn or anything, but you are the most patient person on this app.
Wow.
Every live I've been in, doesn't matter if it's liberal, MAGA, independent, conservative, whatever, they always mute and kick you when they don't agree with what you're saying. You don't even have to be saying anything rude. It happens to me the most in MAGA chats. I'll bring up a good point and then they'll get pissed off and they'll just kick me.
Unfortunately, because I don't really go in liberal chats, I can't disagree with anything you say because I get blocked, banned, muted. Yeah, it happens a lot. I mean, just that live today, I got put on mute probably a dozen times. I've never put a viewer on mute. Not once. Let me not lie. I may have dropped somebody once or twice. So I had a guy get in here and just kept saying the N-word over and over again with no context. But that's been probably almost a year ago. It is exceptionally rare for me to censor or ban someone, and I don't limit their time. I don't do any of that.
Yeah, and in that circumstance, you kind of have to. Otherwise, your live's going to get taken.
Yeah, and that was the reason I took it down. That's the reason I took that person off. Is they just kept coming on. And I even told them, I was like, look, I understand your passion or whatever I said, but the N-word can get the program taken down and all that. It was a white guy. And I told him, I said, look, you can say whatever you want with me, but sometimes the platforms won't like it. So just figure out a synonym N-word and we should be good. And he went right back in this. I'm like, there wasn't nothing I could do.
I don't understand how the Liberal Party became the snowflakes, honestly. And my point is the Liberal Party does complain about a lot of stuff. But the stuff that they complain about typically has a lot of merit. Typically, it's something important. For example, gay rights, LGBTQ rights, that kind of stuff. MAGA are the biggest snowflake because they get upset over anything. You say one word wrong about Trump and they freak out on you. You talk about gays and they're like, oh, you're gonna turn the whole country gay. You talk about LGBTQ, oh, I don't want them chopping my son's dangling off in school. It's like, man, you guys, they complain about everything.
Well,
you call Trump a name and they lose their goddamn mind.
Well, that's because insulting Trump is a cardinal sin. I can lose viewers by insulting Trump. Real quick in the comments, though, I can't even pronounce the name here. 3602 says, Tim has actually banned 18 of my accounts. I don't know what he's talking. Why the hell do you got 18 fucking accounts to begin with? I don't even know who you are. I don't even know what your name is. I ain't never banned any. But why do you have 18 fucking accounts?
That's cool.
Yeah, apparently you're getting banned by a lot more than me. Why do you got 18 accounts? Wow, that's crazy. I mean, that's.
Are you worried about the checks and balances? Because that's my main concern right now with everything that's going on is checks and balances. It seems like Trump can't be held accountable for anything he does.
Yeah, I am worried.
He says some of the most outrageous shit, and he says it because he can get away with it.
Yeah, it is a major concern, and I've heard that once Trump is gone, if we're going to return back to what we used to have before him, they're going to have to pass laws. I mean, you definitely going to have to pass laws like, if this is done, Congress has to act. Or, I mean, you can't just sit back and let somebody do this. I mean, certainly when it comes to stuff like talking about taking away American citizenship and all of this kind of stuff, they have let him do stuff with, man, no pushback at all. Stuff that is clearly unconstitutional.
I'm sure you talked. Sorry, I'm a little sick. I'm sure you talked about it tonight. But that labor statistic chief.
Yeah, fired her. Yeah, he fired the labor. Yeah.
For putting out the right statistics.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me, man. If this isn't the route to authoritarianism, I don't know what is.
Yeah, to me, it seems like Trump is one of those kind of guys where you hate to give him bad news. You ever watch any of these, the Scarface, the Goodfella type movies, and you don't want to get a boss bad news because they're gonna fucking shoot you too. I mean, Trump is kind of like that, where you don't really want to tell him bad news because if you say something bad, you make me. I mean, so the commissioner told him, gave the jobs numbers, and now the commissioner's fired.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. And I'm gonna say something.
You right over there, man? It sound like you doing smack. You okay?
Oh, dude, I got the flu right now.
Oh, I'm picturing Scarface. All right, go ahead.
I wish, bro. It'd be better than this shit. I forgot what I was saying, man. You're killing me.
You sound like this is gonna be our fucking call the way you sounded. You sounded like Hulk Hogan. Shit.
And I haven't been sick in over a year, well over a year.
Okay, all right.
Right now.
Sound like you making up for lost time there. Take your time. Man, you sound like I'm talking to Hulk Hogan.
You're good. I forgot what I was saying.
All right.
Just keep going with the topic.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and move it on. Let you.
That thing threw me off.
Okay. Shit. All right, man. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and move on. You take care of that. I hope to hear from you again. If not, has somebody said
one thing to say? Just got one thing to say.
What's up?
You know what it is? Jon Stewart, 2028.
We'll see.
And I will come on here next time when I'm not dying.
All right, you make sure you let somebody know if something happened to you. Let me know what happened in your absence. Appreciate it. All right. All right, talk to you later. Man, he sounds like Lou Diamond Phillips on La Bamba before he got on the plane. Looking in the comments, though, why is he calling with the flu? People call, shit happens. That's what happens when you support Trump. He's not a Trump supporter. He was not a Trump supporter. He just got sick. Caller, go drink some tea with honey. You know, I got on here once and did a live, and I didn't have a voice. I did not have a fucking voice at all. I sounded like I was really going. I tried to put it on, and I survived for a little bit. So it happens. We all get sick. Kim and Putin always get good news. Right. And that's what I think Trump is heading to, that where all his news is going to be good. And if you give him bad news, then that's your ass. I mean, like right now, we know when he got the updated jobs numbers, he fired the commissioner of labor stats. I'm looking up the name of the title of this person, the commissioner of labor stats. You know he fired her. You already know what's going to happen. He's going to commissioner shop. The next commissioner he gets is going to give nothing but good news. That's not legit shit. He's commissioner shopping. It shouldn't be like that. I mean, if the economy is fucked, we need to know. People need to be able to make, because here's the problem. Here's what can happen. And I've said this before too, is that once Trump is gone, there's going to be many people that are going to have legitimate lawsuits against our government, that they're going to have to pass a law that they can only collect so much to prevent from bankrupting us. The point I'm making on this case here is if you go on commissioner shop and you put somebody in there that's only going to give good news, any company that makes big decisions based on what you now are getting is fraudulent information to the people, stuff you know is wrong, but it just helps make your administration look better, the people can sue. They can sue. You knew these economic numbers were false. You went out and found a commissioner that was going to say good shit just to help your administration, to help your chances in the midterms. And our business made all these moves based on bad information coming from you that you knew was wrong, and now we're bankrupt, or now we lost billions, or now you're going to probably have businesses and corporations suing the federal government. And that's in addition to all the other people I've talked about, like federal employees that Elon Musk fired for performance reviews, and they never had a performance review. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been wronged by the federal government over the last 6 or 7 months. And eventually they're going to be filing lawsuits. I mean, how many people have ICE grabbed that done nothing wrong? How many profiling stops? All of that. I mean, there's a ton of shit out there. It's a ton of shit. There's a ton of people that got legitimate lawsuits out there. And I don't know if Trump is gone in 3.5 years, the statute of limitations for most of that stuff is not up. Some of them folks may just say, fuck it, let's wait till he's out of office and then we can sue the federal government when we'll have a better chance of winning without him around to interfere. But they're doing a lot of stuff to people that's illegal, that is wrong, that, violating people's civil rights. That's happening to a lot of people. People are getting, like I said, those Home Depot raids. So a whole lot of Americans that are being grabbed up and demanded that you show ID. You can't just grab an American citizen and make them prove they have a right to be here. That's actually not legal. Looking in the comments, Mr. G says Trump ain't shit. I'm tired of these maggots deflecting and telling us that we have TDS because all we talk about is Trump. Let's get something straight. Trump is a leader of your party. What he says goes. That is 100% factual. I don't know, when it comes to the TDS thing, I don't understand why the right thinks that the left should not pay attention to what Trump says when they do. They pay attention to everything he says. But all of a sudden, if he says something, the liberals should not get caught up in it. I don't understand that. Trump said that Obama tried to steal the 2016 election. The right is echoing that everywhere. But the left is not supposed to say anything about it because then they have TDS. The whole TDS thing, in my opinion, is a farce. If you give the definition of what derangement syndrome is, for the most part, the right only wants to talk about derangement syndrome when somebody has it against Trump. They'll talk about TDS. They don't want to discuss DS. We'll talk about Trump derangement syndrome. We don't want to talk about just derangement syndrome because you can have derangement syndrome against anybody. And Trump definitely has it against President Biden. He definitely has it against Obama. He definitely had it against Hillary Clinton. If you ask the right, what is the definition of derangement syndrome? Trump is going to have their description. Their description is going to fit things that Trump does. That's why they only want to talk about Trump derangement syndrome, not derangement syndrome. Anyway, looking in the Cash Patel released the burn bags. All hell, great Emperor Trump, LOL. Okay, I don't know why you want that though. Let me go ahead and continue on. The Emperor, huh? You see Trump as an emperor. Yikes. Real quick, muffins that, okay, you guys are still talking about that. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything in the, by the way, tap the screen. Appreciate you guys getting your boy up to 100,000. Tap the screen. We might be able to get up to 110 if you let your thumbs not be lazy. By the way, this is uncensored programming. We don't block, ban, or censor anyone for their commentary. We were talking earlier about Kamala Harris. What do you guys think? She's made it clear she's not running for governor of California, but she didn't close the door on her running for another presidential run. Do you think she should ride off into the sunset, or do you think she should actually give it another go? Kamala Harris 2028, what say you? Think she should give it another go? I'd have to hear your opinion. I'll reserve mine. I have an opinion on it, but I'd love to hear from you folks. Kamala Harris giving it another go. And I will say this before we go into it. Both Trump and Biden ran for president and lost and gave it another go. Both of them did. In fact, I think Biden, when he won, I think that was his third go round. So Biden had ran for president twice before winning in 2020. And obviously Trump lost in 2020 and came back victorious in 2024. So Kamala Harris has lost, I think, a couple times now. I don't really count what just happened in November as a days. She got her own step down almost until the very end. That wasn't a full run. She ran before, she didn't do very well at all, but this last go around, that was not a full run. I mean, she had 100 fucking days. That is the shortest presidential campaign in U.S. history. So she deserves at least a little bit of mention for that, how short that shit was. You're not going to have a woman that they would not put a woman in there at all, just simply based on gender. I think you'll eventually, I agree with you, Teddy Chaos. I do eventually will have, I mean, a few people. I know one of the ambassadors, Roy Stevens or whatever his name. I mean, but for the most part, not a lot of people. Certainly compared to George W. Bush and the Iraq War, not a lot of, I mean, there was very little scandal under Obama's 8 years in office. Wearing a tan suit, he smoked cigarettes, he would come on stage without a flag lapel, just little lame shit. But in terms of really big scandals, not much under Obama. Not much under Obama at all. Keep bending over for Daddy Trump, you pedo, what does that say, pedo maggots? Down. The White House, the Justice Department began lying to the federal courts in an effort to conceal its flagrant law breaking. Most notoriously, DOJ lawyers falsely told a federal judge that the government, there's more to your statement there. I don't know what you're saying. I don't get why did nobody give grief to Biden about the list or Obama? All of a sudden it falls on Trump because Trump was involved just making up bullshit. Leave Trump alone already. Well, that's a good question, a good point. They didn't give Biden as much grief as Trump. But I will submit this to you. And you actually put it in your statements. You said Trump was involved just making up bullshit. Well, here's the problem. Trump ran his fucking mouth. If Trump spoke about Epstein at the same level that Biden spoke about Epstein, people would not be coming at Trump as hard as they are. But Trump ran on, Biden is working with the fucking deep state. He's not transparent. He's hiding in his basement. He won't tell you everything. Put me in there and I will. And then he gets in there and he doesn't deliver on his own fucking campaign promise. And now the right is like, well, let's go back and talk about Biden. No. Of course he's going to get talked about more than Biden. He promised to do more than Biden. He promised to be the anti-Biden. He promised to fill in the blanks for where he said Biden was failing. And then when he gets in there and he fails to do it, now, well, let's go back and talk about Biden. No, it doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. We were talking about Biden was not doing the job at releasing this shit when he was in office. So we're going to put Trump in there because he will release the shit. So when Trump gets in there and doesn't release the shit, let's go back and have the same old Biden conversation that we were already having, which that makes no fucking sense, other than to just deflect the blame away from Trump, who rightfully deserves it at this point. Who rightfully deserves it. He promised to do some shit that he obviously had no intentions of doing. And now to save face, well, let's go back and blame Biden. No, that doesn't work. I'd say that is what G is it? Mr. G rather says all the Republicans bowed to Trump. He got all the campaign money going through him. Yet somehow MAGA wants to stop talking about Trump when all Trump wants to talk about is Trump. 100% agree with you on that one as well. Is that you're telling people to not talk about Trump when that's all Trump is doing is on TV bragging about himself. By the way, Trump is also attacking a bunch of liberals as well. So if you as a liberal decide you're not going to talk about Trump, then you're really going to just sit there and be a punching bag, because you don't need to talk about Trump for Trump to talk about you. This is the whole notion that when they go low, we go high, coming from Michelle Obama. Okay, if you go high, then you're just going to be a punching bag. If he insults you and you don't go low, you go high, then he's going to just keep doing it. I mean, Nikki Haley is a prime example. Nikki Haley was not insulting Trump when she was running. He's still calling her bird brain and Nimrata and all kinds of shit. So you just stand there and be a fucking punching bag. That ain't gonna stop him from hitting you below the belt because you don't swing back. That ain't gonna stop MAGA from cheering that shit on, laughing at it, and repeating it. Because all of MAGA started calling her bird brain. Just like they're calling, what is her name? Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas, Crazy Bernie, Nervous Nancy. They pick up all of those names and start echoing them. Even Ron DeSanctimonious, they pick all of that shit up. So you can go high, but he's still gonna keep punching you low. I'm a liberal for Trump, LOL. At least Saturday Night Live is funny again. Well, depending on how long that shit stay on the air, after seeing what happened to Stephen Colbert, after seeing what happened to NPR, after seeing what happened to PBS, how long that shit stay on air. It may not be on air much longer. I don't think Trump is very fond of networks that don't speak favorably of him. And there's always somebody you can get to. I mean, he's doing a really good job with these lawsuits, getting placed, he's gotten Prince of Harvard and some of these Ivy League universities to settle, getting law firms to settle. I mean, getting media outlets to settle. I mean, so if you're speaking ill of Trump, like South Park, for instance, with that episode that I still haven't seen yet, but it's making the rounds. Apparently, it's a really good episode of South Park. It would not surprise me if where South Park is coming from, whether it's the network or who's producing it, somebody receives an attack from the Trump administration, with the goal being, I need South Park to go away. Would not surprise me. He doesn't like people who are critical of him. He just doesn't like that. I don't know why YouTube switched up the names. I don't know either, Mr. G. I thought it was you. I don't know why, but don't know why I did that. Do not know why. Trump is in there more than anyone else. That's why he's having the docs. Wow. I don't know, but I'm just simply saying the idea that people are going to stop talking about Trump when he's on TV every day insulting somebody is insane. It's fucking insane. Even his holiday messages are fucking insulting. When he wish you a Merry Christmas or he wish you a Happy Thanksgiving, there's insults all in those messages. Even on Juneteenth, he started talking about there's too many holidays and we need to get rid of some of them. And he never acknowledged Juneteenth. People are going to talk about this guy. You expect people to be quiet when he's doing all of that. People are going to talk about the guy. Trump keeps winning and winning, says Paul. I agree with you 100%. He is winning. I don't know about anybody else. But if you like Trump, if you favorite Trump, then, hey, I can't hate on you for liking the amount of winning he's doing. But you're not winning, he is. It's like, I always use the example, it's like watching your favorite sports team win a championship. and you go around telling everybody, we won in 2025. No, you didn't win shit. You went back to work the next day. Your team won. They got the ring. They got the bonuses. They got all of the endorsements. You didn't win shit. But if it makes you feel happy, you won that year too. No, you didn't. Trump is winning. You're not. You're still going to work every day. You ain't getting a raise. You're not winning nothing. He is. You just like your team winning the championship. I get it, but you're not actually bringing home. There's a whole lot of MAGA that were doing just as well off financially during the Biden administration. All MAGA ain't winning under Trump. Some of them ain't even employed no more because of Trump. They ain't winning. I'm winning my ass. Looking in the comments, you must have nightmares about Trump. No, I usually wake up wet and have to go grab a piece of tissue. But thank you for the comment there. The long comment, don't just something, but appreciate the input. You pedal, man. That's crazy. If they work for the federal government, they lost their jobs. Yeah, exactly. Lost your job. You either lost your job or you're doing more than you used to do because you got to take up the slack for all the people they fired, and your morale has got to be low if you work for the federal government. It's got to be low when they came in there and did all of that shit. And there's obviously a lot of MAGA that work for the federal government. Obviously, a lot of federal employees voted for President Trump. They're not winning. That is not how you win. Losing your fucking job and hoping you can get unemployment. I don't see a victory in that at all. And a lot of them went through that. Okay, apparently, I don't know why this is free. Give me a second to make sure I don't miss anybody's comment that I don't want to miss. Certainly my beloved MAGA, I don't like to miss y'all comments. Tax cuts will help the vast majority of Americans. It's not just going to help the wealthy. That is a lie. It's the same lie when he first cut taxes in his first term. I don't recall his taxes during the first term really helping me out. That's me. You're saying that tax cuts are going to help the majority of Americans. I don't. You think the people he fired from the federal government, you think those tax cuts are really going to mean a lot to them? When they lost their whole fucking job? There's a lot more to life than just tax cuts. I don't know about it. I don't totally agree with that. People who lost their husband or spouse in their whole immigration debacle, think a tax cut might make them feel a little bit better. Depends on who you ask. I don't know about that. People who got kicked out of the military because they're trans, you think the tax cut might make them feel a little bit better after they don't lost a whole fucking military career? Hey, you got a tax cut out of it though. I don't know. I don't think it helps everybody. Depends on who you're talking to. Everyone working overtime is winning. Well, you do understand that the overtime, no tax on tips and no tax on overtime is limited to $25K. That ain't a lot. I mean, if you're working, let's say you're making a base salary of $60,000, $70,000 a year, which is kind of in the range for a lot of people. Making $25,000 a year in overtime, a lot of people make a lot more than that. When I used to be in the union, I used to make a lot more than $25,000 a year in overtime. Anything over $25,000, you don't get that benefit anymore. It's capped at only $25,000. Them tax cuts for the wealthy go into the fucking stratosphere. So to me, it's a lopsided giveaway. I mean, why would you limit their stuff at only $25,000? Same thing with the no tax on tips. It's just cash tips. So if you work at Olive Garden and everybody's paying you with a credit card, you don't even get this. They got to tip you in cash, which really is not a benefit because most of the people getting tipped in cash wasn't paying taxes on it any damn way. They wasn't letting nobody even know they got it in cash. Cash is something you can hide. So it ain't really a benefit to them. So it ain't as great as people are championing it to be. It ain't terrible, but I don't see where it's gonna really benefit most Americans significantly. I just don't see it. No tax on tips unless it's no tax on tips unless it's in cash. Anybody getting tips in cash wasn't being honest about how much they were receiving anyway. I make $100,000 a year. Just stop taxing me, bro, and stop touching little kids. Who's touching little kids? Might their name be on a list somewhere? How can you be true to your job when you are looking over your shoulder, no job security? Yeah, I don't understand I cannot imagine what the morale must be for federal employees at this point. It's got to be terrible. You know friends and maybe even family members and associates that's gotten fired. You know people that are now working twice as hard because them duties been passed on. I mean, yeah, the morale, it used to be you get a job working for the city, you get a job working for the state, or a job working for the federal government, you were kind of set. Those are really good jobs. Working for the federal government is not a good job anymore. That's not a good fucking job anymore. I mean, it just, not a good job anymore when they came through and done that. I'm still pissed about the Trump payroll tax deferment. I couldn't opt out and pay, I couldn't opt out of it and pay. What exactly is that? Trump payroll tax deferment. I'm not totally aware of what that actually is. There's a lot of Republicans arrested lately for child trafficking and other crimes. Wasn't there a place in Alabama? Some kind of story came out of Alabama where they had an underground bunker where they were trafficking people. I didn't read the whole stories. I'm sure some of you folks have, but I believe there was something going on in Alabama where they had folks underground and shit like that. Trump lowered the federal pay. Yeah. The stuff Trump is doing economically, I hope it benefits most Americans. I'm not seeing it though. I'm not, because I absolutely believe the average American will be affected negatively by his tariffs. Absolutely believe that. So look, if you get a tax cut and you're working overtime, will that tax cut offset the damage from the tariffs? I don't think so. Hopefully I'm wrong. Will it offset some of the other social programs and things like that that may have used to be available to you that are not now? I don't think so. Maybe you guys have a difference of opinion. But I don't think the tax cuts alone is going to offset all that other shit. So we'll see. I mean, that's something that's speculatory. We'll have to see what ends up coming down the pipe. Real quick in the comments, already in the box, I'm going to go ahead and be a glutton for punishment again here. Gangsta Grandma. Good evening.
Oh, hi, girly pop.
What?
So, you live?
You were there?
I was trying to get on.
Oh, no.
To help you.
Oh, no.
Was he a MAGA too?
Yes. A gay MAGA.
You know how fucked I was going to go off on that fucking his damn ass. Boy, let me tell you, how you gonna wear blue hair and you with LGBTQ and you're a fucking riot? Well, yeah, he might like white dick. Well, anyways, you know, how you gonna do all that and they don't even like your black ass? How you gonna do that? See, I was gonna come up there, they wouldn't let me. They wouldn't at me, because I was gonna have your back. You feel what I'm saying? Like, how you do that? LGBTQ and you're fucking writing for the white man that don't even like your ass. You're uncooked meat. You feel me?
I can't disagree with you because I told him the same thing. I'm like, you're here, you're obviously a gay male wearing a blue wig. I was like, you wouldn't even be allowed at a MAGA gathering. Like,
because you know why? He likes the cooked protein. He likes the salmonella, and he likes the steria. You feel what I'm saying?
Uncooked protein.
All over his fucking mouth. He bites the bottom too. Oh, I wanted to help you, Tim. I really wanted. Don't drag all their asses. You know what I mean?
I don't.
That's why you need me on your thing. I'll drag him to the pits of hell. You feel me?
But we want to have a nice, civilized program, gangster.
You know what? Let me tell you, Tim. There ain't no civilized shit with these maggots. You feel what I'm saying? They ain't civil. Like today, breaking news on the bill. What is that bill? I forget what fucking thing is. The FBI found his name. Shut the fuck up, white girl.
Found his name. What do you mean? Found his name how?
Found his name in all of the files. It was breaking news.
Oh, really?
Bring bird. I don't know what the fuck it is. You feel me?
Wow, I did not hear that.
Yeah. Breaking fucking news or some bullshit like that. And then, look what you're doing to the pedo. Minimum security. With a pedo.
You talking about Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah. So what the fuck?
Yeah.
You don't think come on now. Now, you know what? the right likes pedos because now he's in the files. He's keeping her quiet. Why do you think he's keeping the pedo quiet, Boogie?
Yeah, and that's what Dinkow said earlier, and it makes perfect sense. Once you start aiding and comforting a pedophile, which is exactly what Ghislaine Maxwell is, the only reason why Ghislaine Maxwell is even in a position to start making demands and asking for, provision is because Trump kept quiet. If Trump had met his campaign promise and released the files, nobody would want to hear from Ghislaine. They would be saying that she should rot in prison. But because he is being hesitant, people are like, well, fuck it. If the president won't talk, we'll go talk to the pedophile and ask her. He's actually empowering that woman.
Look, he's going to minimum security. So come on, man. Now, motherfuckers, I can't stand this man. I cannot stand the uncooked meat in the office. I cannot. I can't.
Yeah, he's actually giving Ghislaine Maxwell power because he's being so hesitant. He's empowering her.
That's sickening. That is fucking sickening.
Yeah.
Sickening.
Nobody. If he had just kept his game, huh?
And the maggots, the conservative maggots, and all them. Oh, he's for God and stuff. No, he's a pedo, bitch.
Wow. If he had just kept his campaign promise of releasing the files, nobody would be asking Ghislaine Maxwell for any damn thing.
You know what's fucking crazy? People really believed it. People really believed he was gonna do it.
Yeah, that is true.
Oh, they bought it. Oh, he didn't release it. It was sealed. The only one that could do it. His people could have did it. And then the FBI said it. It was all like Bloomberg or some shit. I don't like Bloomberg. Had a big ass thing about it.
Now, Kelbrew75 in the comments said, I wouldn't be surprised if he pardons Ghislaine. Do you think Ghislaine will get a pardon out of this?
Yep.
Wow.
Keep it quiet. To keep it quiet, because their orange Jesus, uncooked savior is in the office.
Well,
He's getting away with everything.
You do know that as opposed to pardoning her to keep her quiet, there may be alternative ways to do that, right?
Let me tell you something. That motherfucker gonna do something. Or she's gonna get unalived.
There you go.
You know what? She's gonna get unalived, like the first pedo. You feel what I'm saying?
You don't think Trump would take part in ordering somebody's death, though, do you?
The dude died under him.
Yeah.
And his brother came on national TV and said that his brother told him he had something that would destroy him. His brother don't have to lie. But his brother even said it. I don't know what it is.
You could see Trump.
Let me tell you something, Jim. If you were best friends with a pedo for 17 years, you don't think nothing was gonna happen? You don't think that he didn't know? And then the girl that got committed, unalived herself, her family got up there because he said that he stole her away from.
Yeah. I don't know why he would say something crazy like that.
Because he did.
I get that, but.
Poor girl. He probably was banging her at 16. How fucking disgusting is that? And if you're a motherfucker, I promise you, I would be in jail. I would be underneath the damn jail. Because I would have cut his little balls off of that thing.
Jesus, gangster. Wait a minute. Hold on. You can't say stuff like that. Be nice.
I'm not a pedo. I'm not a fucking pedo. I will hurt somebody. They'll hurt one of mine. And Trump is bad. Oh my God.
Okay, well, hang on. Hold on. Let me read the comments so I can give you a moment to calm down. Mr. G says Trump issued a memorandum allowing employers to defer the withholding and payment of employee portion of Social Security payroll taxes for wages paid between September 1 and December 31. Okay. All right. I thank you for clearing. I didn't know exactly what that is. And you said it's important to emphasize that this was a deferral, not a tax cut or forgiveness. The deferred taxes were still owed and were required to be repaid. Ew. That don't sound that great.
You know what? And all these little maggots, all those young idiots that voted for him, oh my God, he's gonna do taxes, no taxes, no tips and shit for 2 to 3 years. Oh, you sold everybody the fuck out for 2 or 3 years, and you're gonna get pennies depending on what the fuck is fixing to come out of with all the tariffs. Oh my God.
But you wait. In defense of MAGA, people didn't know he was going to go tariff crazy like this. He talked about China. He said, he said China. I'm not. You son.
He does all he does. I like tariffs. And then look what he did. They motherfuckers came out the gate and said, you know what, the only reason there was a good job, a little bit of jobs, was the medical. If they did not count the medical, it would be minus fucking jobs. Dipshits.
Well, my point is, like I said before, there were legitimate reasons to vote for Trump. He's doing things he didn't promise to do.
Nothing legitimate to vote for fucking
is.
Trump. What? He's a triple K. He's a rapist, and he was found liable. And then the Epstein files, you know, his damn fucking uncooked Simon Little-looking poison shit is in there with his little too damn dropping ball shit. He's in there touching little girls and doing God knows what to the kids, the young women. They're not even going to get justice because of this shit. And that's fucking pathetic.
It is alleged.
So miss me with the BS. We got something good to get right with the fucking white king man that give everybody goddamn salmonella. Get the fuck out of here.
It is alleged. Trump has not been convicted or proven.
Let me tell you something. Alleged bullshit. And he's not innocent, Boogie.
He doesn't.
He's not innocent.
Let me correct that. He doesn't look innocent, but he could be.
Oh my God! You know what? You like that salmonella protein all over. You're gonna catch it, and you're gonna catch the fucking listeria that goes with it.
What?
Nasty ass.
What?
Fucking nasty ass. You know what? You're trying to sound like a house ninja, aren't you? Yes, buddy.
What the hell?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. Because you know what? You tried. You tried today to get some kind of kahunas against those damn maggots. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm just simply saying you can't accuse the man of something you have no convictions on. And they unfortunately took Gangsta Grandma from the... Gangsta, you can try to appeal that one. I don't know if that one's going to work for you, but try. They took my Gangsta off. Sorry, sometimes that happens. She calling you out. Yeah, she always calls me out. DJ Twos. DJ on the ones and twos, is that what I'm looking at? Employers were required to collect the deferred taxes from employees. Okay, I've seen that part. And that payroll deferment was what really made me say Trump ain't shit. All right, fair enough. I just said I didn't know what it was, but now I do. And look at in the comments. Living off the tax dollar, complaining online all day. You don't have any evidence of that anybody on here is living off the tax dollar. It's almost nowadays, now that America has shifted to the right, even before Trump, we were shifting to the right. Everything from drug testing welfare recipients to even limiting how long they can get welfare. It's not easy to live off the system anymore. So when you're talking about living off the tax dollar and complaining all day, most Americans ain't living off the tax dollar. Most states have work requirements and all kinds of shit. They're now even, thanks to Trump, talking about work requirements just to get health care. As if, be so. And by the way, most people already that get Medicaid already do work. That's not going to do anything but get people knocked off of Medicaid. Because you get a letter in the mail or some shit saying that you got to pass the work requirement rules. And you're trying to fight and prove to them that I'm already working and I'm doing that. And because they don't fire so many damn people, you can't even get a human being to take your case. So now they don't draft you for Medicaid, and it may take you 6 months or having to hire a lawyer or something to get your shit back. Because there ain't enough people to take the phone calls of all the folks they got drafted and are being demanded to prove they working. That's what's going to end up happening is the net result is going to be less people getting Medicare and Medicaid. That's all the goal was. The work rights is just the excuse to do it. That's just like with the whole rapists and murderers thing. The goal is just to get these motherfuckers out of here. But it sounds more legit and more people are going to be okay with it if you say I'm getting rid of rapists and murderers. If you had said I'm getting rid of TPS, I'm going to turn off the asylum seekers, I'm going to go after grandma. No, people wouldn't have voted for it. You give the people the extreme. And it's not that the Trump administration does this alone. The liberals do it too with abortion rights. Well, if she gets raped, if she gets, you want to come with the extreme, when really the people that are going to be victimized by this or used by it is not going to have anything to do with the extreme. That's what Trump is doing. He's using the extremes to get people to agree with shit that doesn't really relate to the extremes once it's in there. I got folks on all these live streams telling me, when you complain about Alligator Alcatraz, well, it ain't really no worse than any other prison. I don't see nothing wrong with it. They're treating them humanely. It's no worse than any other prison. Coming into the country illegally is a fucking misdemeanor. They shouldn't be in prison to begin with. The whole conversation of it ain't no worse than prison shouldn't even be in there. Not to mention in an actual prison, you get commissary, you get visits from loved ones, you can go work out, lift weights in the yard, there's rec time, you got jobs. They sitting in the fucking room all day. It is worse than prison. It is worse than prison. They just sit there all goddamn day. So for people who said it ain't worse than prison, it is. And the Trade Alliance says you're fear-mongering. How? Alligator Alcatraz is worse than what they do in prison. It is worse than it. You don't do anything. You sit there in a cage and that's it. They bring some food, but you ain't getting any workout, any exercise, nothing. You're just sitting there. It is worse. We don't believe that women and girls is heartbreaking. We do tend to believe that women and girls is just when they go up against a juggernaut like Trump. We don't believe them. And then it suddenly be they only in it for the money. I don't think anybody could accuse Trump of anything without people saying that there was an ulterior motive and first believing Trump. The guy is very fortunate like that. Lights are on for 24 hours. That's another one. That said, that bald chick. That is another one. That when you're in Alligator Alcatraz, they don't turn the lights on. It's much worse than a regular prison. It's definitely worse. There are prisons. Certainly when you're in a minimum security prison, and that's where these people would qualify because they haven't committed any violent crimes. Minimum security prison, you're going to get plenty of freedom to move around. Like you get rec time. You're going to get probably television time, even if it's just in a courtroom, or you may even have a TV allowed in your cell. Radios and books. They're not getting any of that in Alligator Alcatraz. It's way worse than a regular prison. It's closer to what they're dealing with in El Salvador. It's closer to that, where they just put you in a room and warehouse you. That's it. Lock you in the room and slide in a tray every now and then when it's time to eat. That's it. It's way worse than a regular prison. Just that shit is inhumane. Nowadays you even get tablets in the jails. Oh, I didn't know that. You can get tablets in jail. Yeah, what they doing to them folks is, yeah. And like I said, coming in the country illegally is a misdemeanor. It's not even something you would go to prison for anyway. Yet, for their misdemeanor, they're being treated worse than some people who have actually committed murder. Not worse than a regular prisoner. What does Trump have to do before MAGA says, no, that's enough? It's a great question. The only way Trump can do something that MAGA is going to say that's enough is it has to happen to the individual that identifies as MAGA. But as a group, I don't know if there's anything. It has to happen to the individual. I mean, I'm sure there are federal employees that identify as MAGA that don't like Trump anymore. But it has to happen to them specifically. And I understand it absolutely can. I've said that before, that if Trump grabs somebody that voted for him, grabs MAGA, and says you're an illegal immigrant, even if you're an American citizen, MAGA's going to believe him. He actually has the power to do that to each individual. If you're MAGA and you get fired from your job and he says you were underperforming, MAGA's going to believe that. They're not going to ask any questions. So it can happen. It absolutely can happen. There's a 15-year-old adolescent in Alligator Alcatraz. Folks, so much for the pro-lifer argument, huh? There's a 15-year-old in there? Wow. That's another one, too. When you're in prison, you not only get to speak to your lawyer, but the government can come and review the facilities to make sure it's humane. They're literally blocking people from inspecting Alligator Alcatraz. It's way worse than a prison. Now, I get it. If you don't like illegal immigrants, you don't care any damn way. I mean, you don't care if they get eaten by an alligator. But I'm just bringing this up because anybody claiming it is not worse than a prison is lying. It's worse. It is absolutely worse. You just in a room. That's it. I mean, they kind of just threw you in a room and they lock you there. Here's the reason alligator Alcatraz is worse is simple. It's intentional. If you get grabbed up by ICE, been in the country 10 years, got an asylum case, you are dealing with, you're a TPS, temporary protected status recipient, and they're about to deport you, and you want to appeal the deportation and fight to stay here. The purpose of Alligator Alcatraz and what likely will be all of the clone facilities, so they're going to build more of these, but the whole purpose is, while you're filing an appeal, treat you like shit so that you'll drop the appeal and self-deport. That's the goal of that. So if you got an appeal, let's extend his appeal out, maybe 6 months, year, and treat him so bad that he realizes there's no way in hell he wants to live like this for a year while this appeal is going, and start thinking, well, shit, being home may not be as bad as this. And it gets them to self-deport. That's the goal of what they're doing at Alcatraz. That's what they're trying to do, is to treat you like shit so that you drop your appeal and self-deport. And of course, as it's also a deterrent, treat you like shit so that nobody else will try to come to the country illegally. But the goal is bad treatment. The goal is to treat you bad. They are approaching teens and pushing them to sign away all rights and put them on a plane banned for a teenager? Wow. Same have been in America since toddlers and sent to a country they don't even know. Yeah, that's crazy. There was a guy, I saw a video on YouTube of a guy. He's South Korean. He got deported back to South Korea. He's been in America since he was like 2. He does not speak South Korean. So he's over in South Korea now, cutting hair for a living and hanging around a lot of brothers, a lot of black guys, GIs, military guys, because he can cut their hair and speak the language they do. And the brothers have kind of taken him in, but he don't speak Korean. He's been here since he was 2. Country where he don't speak the language, he can't read none of the signs, none of that shit. And he was sitting there like, I can cut hair and I hang around the military base because they, I can talk to people, they recognize what I'm saying. It was crazy. This dude is like maybe not even 40. And he's in the country now. He don't know anything about the country, none of the customs or anything. Just fucked him up completely. Shout out to the Christian-based country. Anyhow, I do appreciate the 111,000. Thank you folks that have been tapping the screen. You know how we do it. We don't block, ban, or censor. All the stuff is true what you say, says T. If it's not, you can correct me. I don't mind conceding the point where I'm wrong, but all the stuff I've been saying so far, to the best of my knowledge, yes, it is absolutely true. It's wild how the people that are doing this call themselves Christian. Yeah, it is very wild. It is. I don't get it. There's nothing Christian about any of this shit. Nothing Christian about any of this shit. MAGA literally has to get Swiss cheese for them to realize they are getting got. And that's a stretch. Yeah. I do kind of agree with that. It's got to happen to them for them to feel that way. Top Dog, before I do go real quick, I saw you in the comments there. I saw you in the thing there, waiting in the lurch there. Top Dog, if it brings you up, apparently not. Okay, well, my live streams are not going. So anyway, I appreciate you guys at the 111,000. Follow the program if you enjoy Uncensored Dialogue. Give your boy a sub. Watching on YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night. And I think I hit the right one over here. So Clapper, wanted to say real quick to you folks. What does that say there?